democracy and ever-changing bills and computer terminology. Commodore bills. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you. Are you keeping up? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Hello and welcome to episode 211 of Zapped to the Past. I am Adrian Mills and joined as always by Mr. Graham Raddings. If you haven't listened before, this is a podcast where we discuss games that were released for the Commodore 64. In episode 210, which is obviously not last week, it is, way back, we looked at our first batch of games from issue 84 of Zap 64, which we are in no way affiliated with, and went all strategic in Space Marine, went skiing a lot in Winter Super Sports, and found the legend of the white ape to be true in Biff. This week, we conclude our look at the games in May 1992, along with what was also lighting up our TV and cinema screens that month. Graham, we've started a new year, full of optimism. Do the games match this newfound hope we have found in our hearts?
The final chunk of May 1992 is finally here, and after a decent start, can it finish with a bang? Well, we'll simply have to play our way to the end to find out, I guess, won't we? So in a month which saw the first Belgian woman, that's Ingrid Bayerns, ascend Mount Everest, we head to the robotic, robbery-plagued underworld and take up the personas of two unlikely dustbin-looking robo-scallywags as we test some security systems and our cyber-stealth capabilities in the fun world of Bonanza Bros. And then we head off to some visually bitty 8-bit landscapes and set about awkwardly jumping over things and wandering around in the tragic Stryker in the Crypt of Trogan. Do you know, I once went to see someone who'd made an attempt on Everest give a motivational talk on themes like being determined and never giving up. Oddly though, they never made it to the summit because they gave up. That was due to the crazy weather though, and they said it was also the most terrifying and horrific experience of their life and wouldn't advise anyone ever do it because, and this is a quote, it was like walking into a death freezer where everything in and above the death zone, including the air you breathe and every step you take, is trying to kill you. I mean, it was kind of motivational, I guess. Anyway, while we consider that there are over 200 dead climbers still frozen into the sides of Mount Everest and scattered across the mountain, we go on a science exploration as we explore what happens if you merge two game types fundamentally built on the application of physics and then remove any notion of Earth-based physics from them. Well, you guessed it, nothing good happens. And so that's the result. Soccer Pinball. And if that wasn't enough to make you pound your fist into a wall, we head off to play a late Spectrum to C64 conversion from a game no one heard of or cared about, and a character that didn't have anything to do with the game title or pretty much anything else. Ah yes, it's the Spectrum-looking air biscuit, Murray Mouse Supercop. There's an interesting dichotomy happening, isn't there? New budget games are mostly shite, and re-released full price to budget games are better value. The net result? Most of the new budget games are dog egg, so stick to the old ones, I guess. Though some of those remain dog egg. Double budget dog eggs. Do you know, I never saw that coming. A percentage of them do, and a percentage of them struggle.
Yeah, I wonder which is the higher percentage.
Well, that's what the listeners of this podcast, I am sure, are eagerly awaiting to find out, and find out you will. Oh, yes.
I'm sure they will, yeah. But it's a new year. It's not a new month, obviously, if we don't have a cover and anything, but it is a new year. Did you have a good Christmas, Graham?
Yes, I did actually.
One?
Yes, it was nice. I got some interesting gifts as well. So, yes, it was all very nice. And, of course, it was about not just the receiving of gifts. I was able to give gifts as well. That was nice. So, yes, it was mutual sharing and receiving of gifts. So, this is good. I've actually still got your present as well. I haven't managed to get it to you yet. Still got it here.
No, and I've got yours as well. I haven't managed to get that to you yet. Anyone would think we lived miles apart. We're only like 20 miles from each other.
It's crazy that actually, and I've got our podcast friend Gary a present for Christmas, but every time I look at it, I think it's too cool for him. I might keep it and just get him so much shit.
Well, I got it. He got his off me, so because I saw him over the New Year, and he gave me some records. One was good and two weren't, and I gave him one record which was some Russian Cossack music, which I thought,
he's always said that he wanted to learn the Cossack.
He dances that way, doesn't he?
Well, he does, yeah. Well, his own special version. But he does, yeah. But he has to put those thin pants on when he does it, though. It's always made me a bit uneasy because they are going to tear or shred.
True. And he's always more sack than Cos.
Oh, God. I'm glad you said Koss then. That's all I can think of. Yes, he is. He does obviously have to be careful how he does his Cossack dance. One kick or flick in the slightly wrong manner, and he's going to be in a bit of agony.
He could very well be. He could very well be. I've been ill. Obviously on the Christmas cracker.
He's still ill. That's crazy.
It's the right lingering. This is now. It will be 4 weeks on Friday. So this will be. This is 3.5 weeks now. I've had this stupid thing,
that's
and it's
crazy.
still on my chest, and it's still. I'm still a bit phlegmy.
Whoa, that's bad. Is it like a COVID-y type thing? And there's a couple of bad strains of something or other, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's not been but it's been really weird. It's been really, really weird because it's like how normally you get a cold. And then as the night goes on, you get more and more blocked up as the night goes on. This was the opposite. As the night wore on, I got clearer and clearer. So every night I was thinking, oh, it's gone. That's great. I went to bed and woke up. That's not good. It's the weirdest cold I've ever had.
Just as you go to bed, you sure there isn't a still isn't just opening a valve on like a gas tap?
Maybe. Well, Sue's got it as well. My partner's got it as well, so she's got it too. So we're both with it.
Oh, so maybe be giving it to each other. Get some. I would just cut down on your nitrous oxide and vaping for a while.
Well, I don't vape, so.
Well, then whatever it is you've been breathing out, you need to breathe that out. Goodness me, then plumes of gas that come out. Goodness.
That's true. That's just my own strong lungs,
The arse vape.
Yeah, absolutely. They call me Dragon.
But no, I think there's a lot of it going about. My wife has also been poorly. She was poorly on our little trip that we went on to as well. So it's just it's been a bit of an odd New Year for that, actually.
Yeah, it has been a bit crap.
Did you get any games for Christmas, by the way? I meant to ask you, did you get a game? Because, normally you get a game.
Well, my son gave me some money towards one, which I picked up, and that was Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I've not really had a chance to play it that much. I've been quite busy with stuff. Obviously, the Games to Podcast and the other podcasts. It's like been a bit of a crazy bit of a week. I have tried it briefly. It looks really good for a Switch game. Because it's thinking about the Switch is like the Switch is now 8 years old.
Yeah, still good.
And was underpowered when it came out. In comparison to other things at the time, but. It does look good. I do like the Metroid Prime game, so I'm looking forward to
you've always been a fan of those, haven't you?
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. It was nice to sort of have the old sort of thing there. And so that was pretty much, I bought myself a few cheapies off sort of Steam sales and sales here and there. So I bought sort of a few bits and bobs. I don't know.
More games you'll play for 10 minutes and go, no time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I keep going back to Dark. Well, we're playing Dark Souls with the other podcast, so I'm just playing for that again. It's like, any reason I just play Dark Souls again, But anyway, not been much. What did I watch? I finished off Stranger Things. That was good.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the latest season of that yet. Actually, that's not true. I started to watch the first one, and I got about half an hour in, and I got a bit confused about what the hell was happening, and I suddenly thought I might need to do a bit more of a recap than I thought with the previous
you just went straight
season.
into season 5?
No, whatever the last season is, season 5. I'd watched season 4.
4? Yeah.
So I'd watched it all the way to the end of that one and what had happened, but when it just sort of started from that moment, I think there'd just been too much of a mental gap and too much in between in my mind.
Yeah.
So I was watching it, I was thinking, hang on, what's going on again? When I'd lost focus, so I need to go back into it because I feel like I'm going to need to.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I quite enjoyed it.
It looks very good, though. I mean, goodness.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I did season 4, I have to say. So I was quite pleased with that. And we've watched The Witcher as well. Do you watch The Witcher?
No, I don't watch The Witcher. No, I've not watched that one yet. I've heard it's okay, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a new Witcher guy. So what's his face? Liam Hemsworth is playing him instead of Henry Cavill. But he's pretty good. The problem with it is that it just looked a bit weirdly cheap, this most recent episode. And they had this band of other characters in it called the Rats, and they were just god-awfully annoying. And there was far too emphasis put down. It got better. Anyone that is watching season 4 and not feeling it, it gets better as it goes on. The last 3 episodes or so are actually pretty decent, but it took a while to get there. Both me and my partner were like, we got to get through this. But it did get better.
Yeah, I've been watching the latest Fallout actually, which I'm really enjoying.
I'm waiting for all that to sort of appear, and then I'll do it in a binge.
So I've been watching that one, and also, of course, the Welcome to Derry It series, which I really enjoyed. So I watched that one as well. That was very good.
Yeah, that's on the list. That's on the list to watch.
That is excellent. That's genuinely excellent. I mean, the movie standard stuff. That one. And the way it ties in things like The Shining and stuff into the universe is very clever. So I quite like that.
Oh, okay. Right. I'll look forward to that. There you go. As ever, if you enjoy this kind of chat, you could support us. Of course, you can. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Zapped to the Past. And if you didn't hear the announcement in the Christmas cracker, we're not finishing when we finish all the Zaps. We are continuing.
We're not.
We have new plans. We have, to blow up Death Stars and things like that. Many Bothans died to get us these plans for the new podcast schedule and stuff. So we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Zapped to the Past. You can get in on that. Get in on the Discord, early episodes, things of that ilk. We have a Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Zapped to the Past. Or we have a shop, zappedtothepast.shop, where you can buy official merch, and stuff like that. I think
we have. And also, it's the competition, the Christmas Clacker competition is still open.
The Christmas Clacker competition, yes, indeed.
So that doesn't close yet, so you still get your entries in. We've had some entries in already, which is quite interesting. So, and believe me, I thought my keyboard was clacking till I've heard some of them. So, goodness me.
There is some proper clacking. Yeah. Yep. So, so get your entry in for that. When is the deadline for that? If you're looking for the details, go to
online.
zappedtothepast.com.
Go to they're on the website. The details. I think the competition close date's probably towards the end of next week. So get your submissions in as soon as you can, and then I think the draw is a week later. But the dates and everything are all on the website. Official them. Just as soon as possible is better than not at all.
Absolutely, we want to hear those clacks.
Yes, because the Sunk Wang V20 awaits you.
I can only think that might be putting people off submitting.
I think you never underestimate the power of a Sunk Wang, is what I would say to that.
That is true. That is very, very true. And on that note, should we get on to some games?
Yeah, I think it's time. Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, we've got 4 more games to round out May 92 with. Let's get to the first one of those. And Graham, well, it's over to you for the first one this week to tell us all about Bonanza Bros.
Yeah, a bit of an odd one, this, actually. Not a lot of details in terms of credits that I could find for it on Lemon or anywhere else. Plenty of credits for the arcade version of this. This was of the arcade, a Sega arcade, no less. And this was published on the C64 and other platforms by US Gold. It is copyright Sega, though, of course. And the only credit that was listed was the musician, who's John Hancock, which I thought was like,
yeah,
Mickey take us. It is actually a person. He's not just a signature. So
I thought it was a signature.
Yeah, but there you go. He's not. He's
Did he do any other music?
Yeah, he'd done some other stuff. I can't remember for the life what it was. Didn't write it down, which makes me think he didn't do anything else. But
what are you doing? Alien Storm, he's Die Hard 2 and
he's done stuff. There you go. He's done stuff. So
yeah.
This is odd for the C64. Now, and the odd is because it looked to me like I got a screen grab of the box art for the C64 version, at least the back of the box. And it occurred to me that they had no idea how to put anything of this together. They just sort of looked like they got 2 variations of Dusty Bin and just stood them around various places and took photographs of them doing stuff, which is odd. So, but what is it all anyway? What's it all about? So, Bonanza Bros or Bonanza Bros or Brothers, sometimes written Bonanza Brothers, this is from the wiki, is a 3D style, 2D side-scrolling stealth action game. 2.5D, I believe they call that these days. Developed and released by Sega in 1990. It is one of the earliest arcade games powered by the Sega System 24 arcade system board. Okay. It was ported to various home systems, including the Mega Drive, Genesis, Master System, PC Engine, TurboGrafx, Spectrum, Amstrad, Commodore 64, and I think a select bunch of others. So it's come out on a few different things, Amiga and Atari ST being amongst those as well. It was praised at the time for its graphics, soundtrack, and character design, and has been remastered for the PS2 on a recent-ish iteration. So there was a version for the PS2 as well. At some point that came out, and probably other versions as well. It's got that kind of appeal, I think. It's kind of the sort of game that might lend itself to all sorts of different scenarios. And I believe, and we'll come to this, it's probably a little bit influential on certain things in its own way. It's of a certain type of game, which we haven't seen lots of, but I think it's quite interesting in that the way that it plays out. So what's it all about, the C64 version? Well, I happen to have the documents in front of me. And even though the cover picture, it says, so this is from the blurb that's in Lemon, so this has been typed in. This isn't officially from the cover because I couldn't find that, or a decent one anyway. But it says cover picture of two robots talking, and it says, one says, I'm Robo, who the hell are you? And there's another one that says, I'm Mobo, who the hell are you? That's right, in this game, there are two characters, Mobo and Robo. Mobo and Robo Bonanza, in fact, the reformed villains, were sitting quietly watching TV when suddenly the picture crackled and the shadowy figure of a mysterious stranger appeared on the screen. Good evening, boys. I've got a job for you that is right up your alley. My businesses are being burgled. I wish to hire you to test my security force. I have placed certain items in each building for you to gather. If you can retrieve them all, I will reward you. I'm depending on you, boys. Okay, so interesting.
Okay.
Now, this is of the arcade heritage, so it's got the kind of very fast setup, and I think it's much the better for it in that sense. So, you've got to sort of remember that because we've played so many long format walk and seek games of late, over the past few episodes, that it's easy to forget that games can be based on very short, pithy introductions and sort of basic scenarios. You don't need lots of complication, do you? So how does it play out? You control either one or two characters. It can be played one or two player. You move your character across the screen using left and right, move to the front or back of the corridors using up or down. Fire your stun gun by pressing the fire button for a short time and jump by pressing the fire button for a slightly longer time. So that's essentially how that works. You can either take control of Mobo and or Robo and guide them around the various buildings mentioned by the unknown TV star and remove the required items. In order to complete your task, you must take care not to be spotted or caught by the various guards and traps which make up the security systems. Hide behind objects or run up and down stairs to avoid the guards. Use your stun gun or quickly open door to knock them out for a short while. Once you've collected all the required items, make your exit via the roof and await your airship to come pick you up. Be careful though, because if you are caught by the guards, you will be thrown in jail. Like I said, there's two players here. Robo Bonanza, the smarter of the two brothers, relies on his brains and stealth to achieve his aims. And Mobo Bonanza. Mobo doesn't have the brains of his brother, just muscle. Unfortunately, it's between his ears. That's weird. But comes in useful when in a tight situation. And then there's the enemy types. There are various enemies you will encounter as you go through, and I'll explain how the game looks and functions in a moment. But you will encounter junior security guards, senior security guards, catering staff, guard dogs, heavies. And with all this information at your disposal, you've got to keep your eyes open because there are other obstacles and things that will otherwise get in your way. So therein lies the summary of how it works. So all versions kind of play out the same look and feel. The C64 version, of course, is been C64ified. And so you'll go through the start sequence, which is quite nice as it goes. Not as elaborate as the other versions. There's quite a nice arcade opening sequence on almost all the other versions. C64 is a bit of it, but not all of it. Obviously, and the version I played was the Easy Flash version. So I don't know if this was a pain in the ass loader, or I don't imagine it would have been. It seemed pretty nippy from what I can gather. When you do start the game, and I started it one player and then I had a quick look at the two player, the screen is actually split up quite nicely. It reminded me of some of the sort of combat school type splits or kickstart type splits where you've got, or spy versus spy, I suppose, is perhaps a near and dear type thing. But you've got player one on the top screen, player two on the bottom screen if you play it that way. And then in the middle, you've got your UI and map. So depending on whether you're playing Robo or Mobo, will very much depend on which one you're looking at. But the sprites are differentiated by the style and colour of them. So they do look a bit different. And they look like kind of clanky robots. They've got a style. And it's of the arcade. The arcade has a kind of cartoon, imagine cartoon robot styles. That reminded me a little bit of those Minions. A little bit styled like that. So kind of rounded heads. Bit dustbin looking, but kind of quirky cartoon. How you would create cartoon robots of that time, actually. So, and the idea is fairly simple. Just before each level starts, you get shown a range of items on the screen, and that'll be like 2 discs, a monitor, or something else. You've got to sneak in through and pick them up, avoiding the security guards and different types. As I've said, they will patrol, get in your way, throw things at you, and otherwise detract you from your mission. You are on a timer, so you've got to try and get through this without losing your lives and making sure you do it within the time limit. And to do that, you must navigate through, as I've said, using the joystick, sneak around, and otherwise try and collect the items and get to the exit. If you do that successfully, then of course you'll be going into the next level and more continuation of the same sort of thing, but more elaborate levels, bigger, with much more complications, staircases, ladders, things to go up and climb on. Platforms are comprised normally of a couple of floors. In there, there are objects you can sort of hide behind, so you can hide behind ledges. It's quite clever how it works, actually. You don't think it's going to work in the way that it does, but once you get used to the kind of way you sort of look in and hide and behind walls and stuff, it's actually quite a nice way to play it. So as you go into the level, the security guard might be facing the other way. You can push it to go inwards towards the back of the screen and hide behind there, and they don't see you. It's kind of a very cartoon style view of patrolling security, but it's quite funny. And then you can either choose to jump out, throw things at them, or just avoid them altogether. You can squash them behind doors if they're in the right place when you kick the door open, or you can hide behind those and go halfway up the staircase. And the idea is, like I said, simple. Navigate through that by trying to remain stealthy as possible and then get the objects. When there's two of you playing, you can, of course, then you're actually on the same level at the same time. You play, obviously, cooperatively, really. And the idea then is actually you can help each other. So one person can distract one of the guards. And that actually later levels becomes really important because some of those later levels are based around the idea of distract logic and you've got to do two things at the same time. And that's quite nice. Some of the objects require one other person to stand on the thing and the other person goes and gets the thing. It's quite a nice idea for a game logic and unusual for an arcade because arcades, generally speaking, are about pumping coins in. So making you die a lot and being quite challenging. This one, as a sort of stealth game, actually almost encourages the player to play it for longer, which is an interesting idea. You don't often see that in arcades. So anyway, that logic carries through to the C64. Graphically then, the screen, like I said, split into three. The graphics on the C64 are a little bit basic around the edges, and they can sometimes get a little bit difficult to see, but there's some quite cute versions of the sprites from the arcade, and they do look like the things from the arcade. In fact, the game looks like a C64 version of the arcade, but everything moves pretty smoothly. There's no real bugs or glitches to speak of, and the game plays out exactly as the arcade does. You sneak in, move around, hide behind things, jump out, get the things you need to do, get to the top of the roof, get zipped away to the next level, and away you go. Quite nice. There are, like I said, you've got a timer in the center, your number of lives, and you've got your score in there. And each player is one player on the left, and there's a map showing you where the staircases are and where the objects are you need to pick up, like a little mini radar map, which is kind of handy, especially later. Yeah. And then, of course, you've got the other robo or mobo on the right-hand side as well. And they get the same view, like I said, but they're at the bottom of the screen. And you can be on the screen at the same time, but you can also move around independently of each other, which is very nice, actually. Nice gameplay. Yeah. Now, I couldn't play it two-player because I didn't have another player to play it with. But I found myself really enjoying this experience. So graphics-wise, like I said, a bit on the basic side, but they're not bad versions of what they are. And the backgrounds all kind of work. It all functions as a version of the game, and that's quite nice. And it's certainly the better of the 8-bit versions. Having looked at every version, utilising the power of YouTube to compel me, I was able to get a good view of all the different versions from arcade through to the Amiga and ST and all the 8-bit ones. And out of all the 8-bit ones, the C64 is probably not as graphically rich as the Amstrad, but the Amstrad has all those horrible scrolling problems, which the C64 will never have. There is a choice in the game between music and sound effects. I actually played both, and I found the music did get a bit annoying. It's a version of the arcade music, but it's just lacking some of the arcade sounds. There's mostly more than 1 or 2, 1.5 channels. So it does get a bit annoying and shrill and repetitive over the time it's playing. It could have done with just being a bit lower in the mix, I think. Maybe a bit less stated on the C64. Think Spy Hunter, when it's just that doom, 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 doom. It's repeated a lot in that game, but you don't really notice it because it's in the lower register. Once you get games a bit higher pitched, you start to notice them, and that can start catch the ear a bit, and we'll discover later on when that's what happens if you take that to the extreme in another game.
Yeah, we will.
But that said, I chopped up the sound effects, and the sound effects are more than possible. In fact, I would argue the sound effects, for the first time in a long time, the sound effects are good, and they actually, in a stealth game, kind of make more sense to play it with stealth. In a similar way to Mission Impossible, or Impossible Mission. Impossible Mission does, where you've got the sound effects, just these footsteps and the robot zaps and things like that. It kind of works in a game where you need to sort of sneak about a bit and things. So I quite liked it. There's a fun game in here with the general tone and feel of the arcade, like I said, in C64 mode, but it's not bad. It kind of works. And all the game is there, as from what I could gather, and I didn't get so far into it, but it looked like all the levels were there, or plenty of them. They get more complicated. They're quite fun to play. They're quite varied. They little animated guys with the sort of shields on. They're versions of the arcade, and they animate as well. And all the various little stages of animation are also there. So they stop, they kind of look around, they move about a bit. You can, when you go behind walls and things, he kind of sneaks and sort of pushes up against the wall. There's little touches to that do make a difference. And those are the little things in the arcade that you don't have to pay a lot of cycles for on the C64, but they do make a difference to the characterization, and it's really important. If you hadn't had that, this probably wouldn't have been quite as much fun. So there's a decent kind of puzzle game in here. I think this is good fun for one player. I enjoyed playing it that way. I think it would be even more fun two-player as well. There's a lot of modern takes of this kind of thing. I mean, immediately springs to mind things like Portal 2, obviously taken to a more 3D extreme, but Portal 2 and games of that type. And I mean, I know that you'll know way more of them than I do. I know that it's been a few times when you've mentioned games where there's 2 players on the screen and you're sort of playing cooperatively, or you're helping each other. there's loads now. I don't know that there was loads then though, but it does kind of work. So, and I think it's because it keeps. We've said this so many times. I'm kind of bored. I may as well play the tape recording, but because it keeps the premise simple, and because the arcade is all about the fun of the characters and the premise is kept simple and they don't overcomplicate things. You've just got to get in, get more objects and sneak about. That keeps the core loop fun. And that is what makes this game quite interesting to play, because it is that. It doesn't try and add lots of complex layers and story arcs and everything else. There is a little bit to it, but it is just fun to do those levels in that kind of arcade tradition. So I enjoyed what I played. There's enough of the arcade here to get away with it, and the gameplay was a lot of fun. Like I said, I looked at the other versions, 16-bit versions. They all looked kind of good. They all looked like the part. Obviously, the 16-bit ones were good. Spectrum and the CPC one, the Amstrad, a bit less successful. The Mega Drive, understandably, and the Sega variants were very, very good. So I think, I don't know, if you keep your core idea game fun and you stick to it, you're always on for a winner with me. I really liked Bonanza Brothers, and I'd never even played it before, so I thought it was good fun. Did you enjoy your time as Mobo or Robo?
I'm not sure which one I was playing with, but yes, I did. Just coming back to the notion of other games recently, the games what's his name, Joseph, the guy who he did Brothers, Tale of Two Sons.
That was the one. I couldn't think of the name of it.
That's single player. But if we go on to his later ones, things like A Way Out, Split Fiction more recently, which has been very, very popular. It Takes Two. Those kind of things especially spring to mind where we're talking sort of two players. And even if you think about it, the Lego games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a really good shout, actually. Yeah.
So all those Lego games where you play as two and the screen splits off in really interesting ways and moves around and stuff. They got really clever tech.
Completely true. Yeah, absolutely.
They're kind of sort of in this ilk. But it's weird that this is kind of tied. I don't know. I'm trying to think in my head, though, maybe A Way Out because you're trying to escape from a prison. But like co-op stealth is an odd. There's not many of them around. I think there's one of the Tenchu games did co-op stealth. I can't remember which. I think you can play as both characters in one of those. I may be wrong, but maybe not. But it's an unusual thing, and early stealth sort of example, because that's what it is. I mean, it's like you said, it's a stealth game. You're sort of hiding up against walls, sort of Solid Snake style at the times, aren't you? Sort of, things like that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed this interesting game. And a blended two-player co-op action, and the stealing, it makes it feel quite unique. And I thought this was a pretty solid port of the arcade original.
I'd agree.
I had to go with the arcade original on MAME today because I'd never played it, never even heard of it, if I'm perfectly honest. And aside from the kind of sound effects
and stuff,
and all those kind of things, and this sort of intros and bits, this kind of nails the core elements of the game pretty well. Simple mechanics, but what's there? It's player friendly, isn't it? It's player friendly. It's easy. It's easy to get into, and the things are cartoony, like smacking people with the doors, stuff like that. It's almost sort of, Roadrunner-esque.
Yeah, it's got touches of that. Yeah,
it's kind of like cartoon-esque sort of thing. So I quite like that. I found that the only thing I found was just the controls in the C64 were a little sticky in places. Just a little bit.
I think it's that hold for jump. It kind of threw me. I think it should have been the other way around. It sort of makes more sense for it to be the other way around, I think.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Once you get used to them, though, and you kind of know where you've got to jump. And I think there's one bit where the floor goes up and the perspective's not quite... I was like, why can't I walk up? Why can't I walk? And I was like, oh, we've got to jump up it. Right, okay. Once you know these things, it becomes second nature. So luring guards out, you can get behind them. It's all good. Maybe some care in the presentation sakes. Maybe they could have put some of those intro sequences in. I think at this time in the C64, we've seen a lot of good intros, though maybe it could have been that. But, keeping to the solid colours. I looked at the arcade version. Are they polygons? I couldn't tell if they were like early polygons or that kind of modelled in 3D, made into 2D sprites type look.
It might be because it is using this new Sega System 24 arcade board, and I have a feeling that is... It does look it, doesn't it? They look like... they look
polygonal. Yeah, they look 3D, but I don't know if it's 3D models but have been flattened into 2D sprites, like in some games do these days and so forth.
You'd need to look up a bit more of the System 24 spec. I think you're probably right about that. They're probably polys, early polys.
Or whether it's polygons with that. What's that shading called? Is that shading where it's like goes from light to dark on a polygon to give it sort of depth? I can't remember what to call it now. It may be using that. I don't know. Yeah. So that lends the C64. So I was looking at the C64 thinking, there could have been a bit more, but actually no. Keeping to the solid colours made everything pretty easy to read. So I think it was quite good. I enjoyed this. Good. Captured the look and feel of the arcade original. Good to see it kept the 2-player split screen. Solid conversion of an odd and something I'd never heard of arcade game. I was pleased to play it though. I thought this was a good little time sink. And as you rightly say, I think this would be really good fun in 2-player, especially in the more trickier later levels.
Yep, absolutely right.
Yeah, especially when you're up against a time limit and you're like, I need help, get here. And
Absolutely. That time limit is pretty tight as well, Steve. It doesn't seem like it, but it gets quite tight.
Yeah. So Bonanza Bros. Only 85% though as well.
It's a mystery because there's a game that got 70% this episode, and I don't understand the world.
Well, yeah, and we've seen some. The Jetsons was up in this. And what are they on? What are they on? But I'd have given this a sizzler. I think this is a solid sizzler.
Yep.
But what do I know?
US Gold as well. I mean, goodness me, they're normally there's a bit of cash involved with them, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. There. True. There we go. Bonanza Bros. I was expecting some Mario Brothers knockoff, but pleasantly surprised it wasn't. There we go. That's our first game for this week. Let us move on to the second one. And our second game, this is Stryker in the Crypt of Trogan.
Wow.
Yeah. We're back in bargain bin territory here with Stryker in the Crypt of Trogan. A name not even a mother could like. So this is from Codemasters, and would have seen you shell out £3.99 for it back then, if you wanted to. The developer is Simmer Software, which means something's never quite done, which applies to this game, really. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the only game under them as well that I could find. But the code here is by Jeff E. Calder. Now, he did Sport of Kings, if you remember that way back in the day.
I do remember that. Goodness.
Horse racing betting one. I used to really like that. He also did Pasteman Pat, which we also looked at, which I don't think we liked.
Look at that.
Yeah. The visuals are by Andy Wind and George Calvert. The music is also by Andy Wind. It's the only game listed for those two that I can find. Interestingly, though, Jeff E. Calder, he's actually listed on Moby and mentioned in the Zapped review as the guy who did the C64 version of Switchblade. When you mention that, makes a lot more sense.
Doesn't it just? Yeah, all of a sudden slots into bloody place.
Yeah, now as ever, there's some kind of story to this. This is from the Spectrum inlay. I found the Amstrad one as well, but they're both the same, so I imagine the C64 one is as well. So anyway, what does it say? Stryker in the Crypt of Trogan. Before the awakening, only the very foolish dared venture into the bowels of the Crypts of Trogan. Its depths hide unknown evils, and at its lowest level lies evil incarnate, Trogan. Now, Trogan has risen and commanded an army of evil forces, sword-wielding skeletons, disembodied skulls, and other unearthly creatures that are probably some kind of skeleton-like, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's similarly animated.
Enter Stryker. A warlock armed with the secrets of bravery and the magic of order. That sentence makes no sense. The secrets of bravery? What's that mean?
Why is it a secret to be brave?
I don't know. He's also got the magic of order. What's that mean? With the destiny of destroying Trogan, he's the right guy to get then, isn't he, really?
Yeah, perfect. It's on his job description.
Yeah. With the destiny of destroying Trogan and banishing evil from the land, Stryker takes on the evil army and looks to vanquishing Trogan forever. That's awfully written, isn't it?
I feel like he was destined to do that, though. So what else is he going to do?
Absolutely.
I want to be a soup maker. Sorry, mate. Says you're destined to fight the evil. That's been your purpose.
Yeah.
That's why we gave you all that secret bravery.
The secret of bravery. I don't want to know the secret of bravery. I'm a coward. Get in there. Kill that Trogan dude. That's it for the instructions. That's all you get.
Okay. Right.
Aside from the controls and some handy hints, which are these. Collect the power-up spells, avoid the skeletons from the grave, learn the map to the crypt, use your spell power wisely. That's it.
Yeah. Hints? I could have just said that off the cuff. That's just basic advice.
I know. That's it. That's
most games.
That's all you get about this game in the instructions.
Yeah, that's very telling, isn't it, though?
Yeah, that's your lot. There's a loading screen here. Shows an action-packed scene of our blonde ponytailed hero blasting some skeletons with magic powers. Bravery, I guess. I guess it's not bad. The smug look on the hero's face really reminded me of someone, and I want to say it's one of the voices for The Simpsons. It's not Dan Castellaneta, it's the other one. Phil Hartman.
Could be.
But I could not think who. I think it's Phil Hartman. I don't know. Anyway, once you've had enough of that, because it's just a loading screen, you get a choice of joystick or keyboard. Before the intro starts. Now, at this point, this game's really odd. We get I guess it's quite nice text appearing on the screen for the credits, the way it kind of comes on and sort of writes over itself. And
I
it's
thought
quite
it was
a nice
pretty cool.
effect. Yeah, and it's an okay piece of music as well, I thought.
Yeah,
it's all right. Before we then get a high score table, a couple of screens listing all the power-ups and collectibles in the game, none of which are in the instructions. But they might have been handy, for a reference. And when I say a lot, there's a lot. You've got power-up, cancel power, action speed up, cancel speed up, bonus, extra life, lost parchment, vitality sack, which is like a Cossack, I guess, invulnerability spark, ammo flask, cancel weapon, rockfall, bonus flask, pump up bonus balloons, spelactic rocket, firebolt, proton sticks, firecracker, sparkler spell, razor disc, twin sting, Tripix, and the lost spell.
Okay.
None of this is kind of hinted at by those instructions, right? No. It's just there's page and page of these sort of power-ups. I was like, what is going on here? So anyway, you've got to ingest all that. And once you do, you press fire and start the game, at which point we get an image of an old man with frizzy hair and beard, which I put in our agenda because it made me laugh because it reminded me of the Zardoz head. But it also reminds me of a character in something else as well. I have seen that face and sort of hairstyle and beard something before. But it also has the text, "The weak shall perish." Who is this old man?
Who is he?
Is it Trogan?
Might be.
Is it some kind of never before mentioned mentor?
Is it Trogan's dad? But look at that.
Who knows? I don't know. Right. So I have a feeling, I think that considering this came from, obviously the guys who did Switchblade, I have a feeling that this may have been designed as a full price game.
Yes.
With more instructions and backstory. It fell through and Codemasters picked it up and just put it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel a bit like that. And
I think that's what's happened here. So we've got, you've no idea what to do. It's like, okay, just do stuff. So press the fire button, gets the game going. There's a small intro tune and away we go. And here we get, basically the heritage of Switchblade that this game has. You control Stryker. Would it not have been better if you were playing as Ted Stryker from Airplane?
I'd have played it more.
It would, wouldn't you? Yeah,
would have done that.
Absolutely. With drinking problem and everything and what have you.
Trying to escape the asylum and you get the love boat.
Absolutely, yeah. Stop to do a painting of a guy with his leg behind his neck. All that kind of stuff. Bump into Ethel Merman. So you're a grey-robed wizard. So that guy in the title screen, loading screen, blue outfit, blonde hair. I presume that was you, yeah. Not me. No, you're all grey here. I don't know. You're all grey at this point. So you're a grey-robed wizard, a very dull world of brown floors, grey and black backgrounds, and red and pink rocks. Okay. The game itself is a flick-screen adventure, which sees you having to make your way through the screens for some reason or another. I have no idea because the instructions are so vague. You got to go kill Trogan, but okay. The game takes up most of the screen. It's got the UI at the bottom. So the UI is confusing. It's got 2 scores on the bottom left for some reason. One, and both of them go up through the game. So playing the game, I couldn't figure out why some things made one of the scores go up and one did the other. What game has 2 scores going on? This is weird. Next to that, there's 3 red bars, sort of horizontal bars. I think it's your health. Only the middle one's filled in, but the other ones do fill in at times. Who knows? They're all linked to these power-ups. These need to be explained in instructions. Picking up some things like 7 at the top of the bottom one fill up. Not sure why. Next to this is 3 green bars. I think this is your magical energy, but I could be wrong. These fill up and go down as you pick up various things. Finally, there's the level you're presently on, an icon for the weapon you presently have, and a number. I presume that's your lives. So, there you go. Controls are left and right for movement, up to jump. You'll do a longer jump if you're moving when you jump rather than a standing jump. But the jump is weird because you go up and then across. It's like it's done in like it's like up to right 2 if you do a standing one, up to right 3. It's very street. It looks stupid. I don't like it. Pressing fire will either do a punch if you've got no weapon. If you find something just lying around, it's a weapon. It instantly equips it and you fire in that, like we did in Switchblade, I think. You'll fire your weapon if you have one, and that makes your magical energy go down, and once you run out of that, you lose the weapon. If you do down and fire, you do a sword slash. Why you don't use your sword with the normal button press, I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know. So an up and fire does some kind of shield sword thing. I couldn't make it out. It's unclear, because the animation's odd and there's nothing in the instructions to tell you what the hell is going on. You wander from flick screen to flick screen, being attacked by skeletons or skulls or hands that appear from the ground dead annoyingly. Just as you're about to walk on, they hit you, or they come from the ceiling. You meander about the place, no real idea what to do. I don't know. Are you supposed to collect things? Are you supposed to explore for some reason? I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
I made it some big floating skull thing, fired fireballs at me, which I had no idea what to do about. Its control system is too slow and stilted to sort of avoid them, and then I died. I decided I'd had enough of this. I sort of wandered about a bit more. I'm like, oh. It's so... You've no idea what to do. We said this... I remember saying this about that Elvira 2, was it? The arcade game. It's just no idea what to do. From a visual point of view, it's bitty and ugly. The Amstrad version has a... So I looked at the other versions. There's Amstrad and Spectrum. So the Amstrad version has a sky at the top, like a behind. So what it's got your floor, your rocks, and then it's kind of got this black space, which looks like thing because it's got the sky outline in it. So it looks like negative space, and it actually looks really good. Yeah, the Amstrad version. Here, it's just blocky grey bits that make no sense. I couldn't make out what they're supposed to be. Was I underground? Was I above ground? I don't know. It's all just black apart from these grey things in the sky. Yep. The skulls and skeletons are also, they're not particularly well drawn or animated, and neither are you really. It's stupid, like I said, in the combat. So if you do the downward swipe, you can kill the skeletons quicker. But if you don't do that, you just punch them and then they'll just gang up and you'll take loads of damage. Who thought of this? There's the musical sting at the beginning, but once that's done, you're done. There's little to entertain the ears, bar some tings when you pick stuff up. The odd sound when you hit or you get hit by something. Yeah. The combat, like I said, is woeful because it's also got, I think this happened in Switchblade as well. When you get hit, you're knocked back with no chance to retaliate. If you're hit by something moving, it keeps hitting you as you're dragged along and you can't do anything. And once I had a skull that was moving back and forth, just kept hold of me, moving back and forth, so I was dead. I was like, oh, this ain't good. And like I said, I think it happened in Switchblade as well. It happens here. It's just as annoying. Like I said, I think this was meant for bigger things. I don't know. I think this was supposed to be full-price Gremlin release at some point before they moved to 16-bit machines and jettisoned the 8-bit stuff. And there was a proper instruction manual to accompany the game. There was supposed to be something and you could understand what the hell was going on. I don't know. What I do know is that this is a stilted, boring flick screen trudge with annoying controls and nothing to keep you hooked or entertained long enough to even want to try and figure it out and get through it. I found this really boring, really unpleasant to play, and just, they gave it 32%, probably about right. It's not a particularly very good game. There's a lot wrong with it. It doesn't play well. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't look good. And it's incomprehensible. There you go. What did you think?
Oh, all the same thing. The jump was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, very
annoying,
weird.
Actually. Annoying because he kind of jumps up and then across and then down. That was dead annoying, especially if you hit an object and it just kept jumping and you go back and go back and go back. And like, oh, no, this is not a good start.
Yep. It's a proper vein throbber in the side of your head, isn't it? It's like, oh.
So I thought initially, like you had, I thought, maybe there's something to this. I mean, it's a stupid name, but you know what? We've seen stupid. And then it was quickly, it quickly revealed itself to be the turd that it was, didn't it? That bitty experience. The graphics are bitty. It's my least favourite kind of shading, bitty shading.
Yep.
Where they've just kind of it looks a bit scrappy and bitty and unfinished and badly drawn and just, it's like if you've scanned something on a photocopier and it didn't run out of ink. And so when it's printed, you just get this kind of vague outline of something. Now it looks kind of like the mountainous skyline, whatever the hell that's meant to be. I don't know what it is.
No one does.
Just putting the game, the character in a grey kind of cloak was a mistake because most of the other details in the game are grey as well. So grey rocks, grey things. It meant that the colour palette for the game was horrible, really horrible. Mm-hmm. So, you are running on, it's running on brown, diving into caves. There's these weird pots, trying to jump over these, what I think were fire things. And just everything was, it functioned, I suppose. Maybe the sound was okay, I guess, maybe in it generally. No, it was all right, I suppose, but the sound effects weren't, but the music was all right. But you just know what you're in for. As soon as it starts flick screening around, you're in for a lot of walking around, picking things up, moving things around, lame combat that felt directionally challenged no matter what you did. And at one point, I'm pretty sure I was just kind of tickled their feet with a stick. I don't know what I was doing. It was all a bit crap. So no, I didn't enjoy it. I had no compulsion to get to any other levels, of which from what I read in Lemon, there may only be 2 anyway. So, the great challenge afoot there. I just thought it was really weak. Really, really weak for a game. Bitty, unfinished, I think is the right word that you said. It's unfinished. And I would agree with you. It didn't make me want to play it. In fact, as I kept getting pushed back and catching on objects when I was doing my stupid jump up, across and down, I'm thinking, no. So I quickly reached for the off switch and goodbye game. Thanks for the roll of fish. It was gone. And I was like, I felt better. I actually felt relieved after I'd switched it off. I'm like, oh, thank God. Just bitty graphic games, they do my head in. So no.
Yeah.
No good. Trogan, I'm afraid, no. It's a no-gan for me. So.
Very good. Jumps shouldn't follow crossword puzzle direction, should they? 2 up, 2 across, 3 down.
It really does as well. Who jumps like that? Nobody can jump like that.
No one.
Why did they do it?
Because I imagine it's easier to increment on the Y and then increment on the X.
It
and
is.
Then just put it down without having to do both at the same time.
Yeah, it just struck me as a bit of a lame thing because the C64 is very capable of delivering. That's just the basic sprite logic of that sprite is fairly straightforward and rudimentary on a C64. It doesn't require a lot of complex mathematics. Actually, it's kind of designed to help you do exactly what it's trying to do here. But no. Not good.
Not good at all. There you go. Stryker would have been better if it was some kind of airplane game.
Yes.
Would have been. So there you go. That's our first 2 games for this week. We liked one. We did not like the other. I'm sure we'll like whatever comes up later in the episode.
Yeah.
But, I have a feeling that this is actually the pick of the flick screen games this week.
Yes, it is. And that's not saying a lot.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to get them both. Yay. So we're going to go away, take a quick break, lick our wounds, come back and see what was going on the telly and at the cinema. So stick around. We'll be back in a bit.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Crash landing on a green planet full of vector graphics, can Sarah find a way to escape for real? Or is she stranded on a planet full of sun, sea, and chippy tea forever? Imagine finding yourself in a cinematic karate game, having to rescue a princess, or remain stuck under the run-stop key forever. What about finding yourself on a space freighter full of robots? Could you clear the decks? If you were transported back to a Wild West town, having to round up outlaws, could you survive until sunset? What if you were a wizard with a cat who must colour worlds? Could you beat the game, or would a virtual guitar solo announce your demise? Sarah might just be another visitor, but she doesn't want to stay a while, never mind forever. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, discover if there's a way out in Escape from the Commodore 64. Visit davidhearnwriter.com to find out more.
And we're back. It is May. It is 1992. What's going on in the world of TV and cinema? Well, 4th of May, Wire TV launched, Graham, branding itself as the cable channel. This is the flagship channel of CPP1. Wire TV broadcasts a mix of entertainment, lifestyle and sport from 1 p.m. until 11 p.m. and includes 2 hours each day of regional programming.
Where was this even visible from?
I don't know. Some kind of, you had to have a cable box or something like that. I did like this though in the wiki about this. The YTV was a British cable television channel produced by United Artists Cable and featured a range of entertainment. Okay. The galleries, it was lifestyle and sports programming from a converted unit at the Galleries Shopping Centre in Bristol. That's weird, isn't it?
It's really weird.
It's like, okay. Yeah, so I don't know. It relied on satellite distribution to cable head ends across the United Kingdom. Intelsat 601 was used and broadcast alongside both the Parliamentary channel and the Learning channel, using the first digitally compressed uplink service.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? In its own techie, nerdy way, isn't it? But
I suppose so. But, you know...
So satellite to cable. Oh, it's all satellites and laser beams. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. All from some shopping centre in Bristol.
So random, that is.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not BBC Centre, is it?
No. And of course, later down the line, we ended up with all sorts of weird cable channels in the UK, didn't we?
Yeah, they did. I wonder if they were all coming out of like shopping centres dotted around the country.
I bet they were. We never knew. We never knew, did we? There was the epicenter of broadcasting. We could have broken in like in the Running Man and just, you know, told the world the truth. Hack the signal, yes.
Told them that Whitman Price and Haddad were not enjoying their lives.
You remember
in the,
them?
Sunny
exactly.
Leaves, wherever we were.
Exactly. That's what did he say? The debt to society was not paid in full.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. They're here in Bristol, Temple Meads.
Paying for
in
their
a
debt.
fish shop. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want Addict with that? No, it's too
Not for me,
expensive
I
these
don't.
days.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
It is. 9th of May, Ireland's Linda Martin wins the 1992 Eurovision Song Contest, staged in Sweden, with Why Me? Which made me chuckle. Why have I been picked?
Well, that's a very good question. Why me? Yes, why was she picked? Having watched that entry, I would agree. I don't quite know, but I can only assume that because the song's a bit weird. I can't, there's a lyric that she keeps saying over and over again, and it isn't "Why me," which threw me. Anyway, but it did make me just do a thing, which was I thought, because when I look at, we'll post a video in the show notes of the live view of the Eurovision 1992 and the winning song, and when you look at the stage and you're like, oh, it looks so naff. And that's anything, because what it looks like now is kind of mind-blowing, the staging for the Eurovision nowadays.
I was quite shocked just to see the big Swedish sort of longboat thing behind
Yeah, it's just a bit mad, isn't it? The staging and the orchestrations come very much of the 80s, 70s, 80s, in the 90s. I thought it would have moved on a bit. There'd have been more digital stuff, but not yet.
Not yet. No.
And then I looked, I jumped forward 10 years to 2002, and the winner there was Mary N with a song called I Wanna from Latvia. I don't remember Latvia ever winning it, but they did. And the staging was, again, it was actually no better. And I was thinking that, I just imagined that there'd have been a big leap, lots of computer graphics.
I actually thought it was a bit worse. It looked awful, that staging.
Yeah, and I suppose it depends where it is, because obviously it's I didn't see what the country was that won the previous one, so that's where they hosted it. So it could have been in a country that was, and maybe that's a factor. So then I thought, well, what's it like? So I jumped forward 10 years and jumped forward to 2012, and it's like chalk and cheese. It was like futuristic graphics. The song was clearly written by someone that had been, touring the rave scene for the previous 10 years in Europe. So it was like this mad Euro trance epic anthem was blasting out. Loreen, Euphoria, Sweden. Really great track. Really good. And the production on Anti had been upped massively. And I thought, and just in that 10 years, something crazy had happened.
Well, the previous
really
winners
mad.
in 2001, by the way, was Estonia. So
maybe that's why. Maybe it was just the best they could do, which is fair. I mean, I get it. It's understandable. It's not a criticism of their efforts. It's more just an observation. I was expecting there to be bigger digital intervention into the staging, because nowadays the staging is all drones, massive LED screens.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's absolutely. It's almost part of the theatre of the stage show is now part of the performance. Whereas back then, in the old 90s, it was just the singer stood there, as you'll see when Linda Martin stands there with the hair that's clearly fixed by that much hairspray. I wonder there isn't a hole over the ozone layer still. But there you go. Actually, it was just an observation. So we'll post those links into the show notes and have a look at it in 10-year jumps. And it's just quite amazing to see the difference. It was what hit me more, actually, I think, was the Swedish entry in 2012. It was just this wall of trance kind of blasted into your face. You're like, wow, okay. Things really changed at a certain point. Went from being Papa Lumpy to that. So, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think the moment I realised things had changed was those Polish milkmaids that year.
I think that changed a lot of people. Certainly turned a lot of people onto the both milkmaids and Eurovision at the same time. It did wonders for the milk trade. Wonders.
It did. It really did. 14th of May, the final on-screen appearance of Willie, one of two EastEnders
That's
dogs.
A porn movie, surely.
Full of Polish milkmaids. Final on-screen appearance of Willie, one of two EastEnders dogs to have appeared in the show since the first episode in 1985. Willie. The other being Rolly. Having been killed off in the series, the dog who played Willie died on the 30th of May, 2 weeks after his final scenes are shown.
So he was dying, and they made him act out his own death. You sick bastards!
That's method acting. That is. That's EastEnders method acting. That's hopefully they'll do that might do that with Danny Dyer.
Yeah, because that Willie, he was actually a Rottweiler, but he was just method acting as a pug.
Yeah,
brilliant performance. De Niro like performance, really. He was the De Niro of the dog world.
Yeah, he lost so much weight for that role.
He did. It's unbelievable. That's what killed him in the end.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he wanted to go back to eating his pasta.
What was the other dog called? Rolly.
Rolly.
So who owned Rolly and who owned Willie? Was it Ethel that owned Willie?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, my little Willie.
Rolly was Dirty Den's dog, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the big poodle.
Yeah, because then there was Wellard, wasn't there? They've got Wellard and Willie. No wonder Willie wasn't allowed on there. You can't have Wellard Willie on there.
Wellard Willie having a Rolly.
They're not allowed to exist at the same time for reasons. That's the BBC going, you can't ever have these on the screen at the same time. Kill him off. But he's already dying. All the more reason.
Or maybe he wasn't, and they just was like, he died on screen, now he has to die in real life.
Yeah, this dog
poor
is over.
The BBC, the auntie has spoken.
Oh, bless. And then, so that's sad, though. Poor little Willie.
Yeah, he died 2 weeks later.
He
Bless him. Oh, poor doggo.
Have a broken
18th of
lead.
May. Yes. 18th of May, it is announced that Sky Sports will supply live coverage of football's new Premier League, which shows 2 live matches a week. It will show 2 live matches a week on Sunday afternoon and Monday evening. Sky outbid ITV Sports for the rights. The highlights contract is awarded to the BBC, meaning the return of Match of the Day on a weekly basis. I forgot that Match of the Day went off air for a couple of years when ITV was showing. That might be when they had Townsend's Tactics truck? I can't remember. Gary will be able to tell me about that.
I wouldn't know.
No, but there was a show where it was Andy Townsend and he had a truck and he had a screen in the back of it and he was going round and it was called Townsend Tactics Truck. It was shit. It was rubbish.
Did ITV call their TV show Day of the Match by any chance?
No, they didn't.
That would have been quite funny.
No, I'm not sure if they just carried on because they used to have the big match on a Wednesday night ITV, and I'm not sure if they just had that or they just probably might have just done Premier highlights or something.
Yeah.
For when it was. But interestingly, yeah, as you've written here, this is the start of the change of football. It's literally we've had the Premier League, and now this changes football in the UK fundamentally.
Forever.
Yeah,
forever.
Yes, absolutely. And obviously Sky dominate and what it is now with entire channels and 24-hour coverage and just crazy. There was no other channel was ever going to be able to compete after this point, were they?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it changed the nature of. I mean, I don't know anything about football, but I do know quite a bit about the way that TV marketing and things works.
And the money that got pumped in.
Yeah, it's exactly, and it changed the game. Literally changed it forever. No, that meant that players were suddenly worth mega millions, and football teams were suddenly internationally super international. This have played no small part in the really big Premier League teams now being having global branding, and the Manchester Uniteds and others that have currency around the world and players worth millions in international trade, and all that money seeping in from all of the sponsorships and everything else. It changed, and it didn't just change football. It began there because they bid on those things, but then gradually it was Sky Sports, wasn't it? So Sky Sports then took over Formula One and stuff like that for a while, and it took over principally all the sports. And I was never a sports TV watcher. I did used to quite like now and again watching that one on ITV or BBC on the day on Saturday sometimes, whatever that was, Grandstand or whatever it was called or whatever that was.
Yeah,
where you got a bit of a mixture of sports and stuff like that. But that was really, for a long time, that was your in the UK. And if you wanted to see football, well, the football matches were generally shown. But this pretty much ruled out anyone that didn't have Sky and a Sky subscription. At that point, this meant having a dish installed in your house. You weren't going to be able to watch. Yeah. You had to make a monthly investment into Sky in order to watch something. That's a very, very different dynamic on how TV is funded. And it's so fundamentally changed broadcasting in the UK. And obviously, it's following on from the way the rest of the world was doing it, certainly the NFL and stuff in the US. But it's so fundamentally changed sports coverage in the UK that it drove more people to the pub, because then pubs got on to having big screens and Sky Sports and showing big sporting events. And boxing then changed, and boxing did the same thing. It changed the culture of how sport was consumed. And that is really, really, really important. Really important. So much so, now it's going in a weird switcheroo. So Netflix have now got all of the boxing, I think. They've got all the WrestleMania and the wrestling. Netflix seems to sponsor a lot more of the boxing matches, which seem to be YouTubers taking on pensioners randomly and people like that.
Prime has loads of football on it and loads of sports on Prime.
Yeah, and then Prime BT as well. I think, is it BT that won certain sports things? I don't know. It's a bit of a mishmash now, isn't it? I don't really follow it, so you know more than me.
Yeah, there's some stuff. I mean, I don't really watch much football these days live. So there's what's the other it begins with a T? I can't remember what it is though now. But the point that the interesting thing as well that happened around in 1992 was that the European Cup, which was the big European competition, changed to the Champions League in 92 as well. Right. And so there was this change of the way that the big Premier League, the big top clubs, there was much more games being played. They were in Europe a lot more because the European Cup, I think, had been a a knockout, just straight knockout, I think.
Yeah.
There had been a round robin stage in 91. And, so around this time, there's a lot of things changing about how football was being presented and how many games were being shown. And this sort of money being funneled to the top clubs, your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, your Bayern Munich, your PSGs, your Ajaxes, your Liverpools, your Man U's, all those kind of thing. The money was getting funneled up into them. And it's no surprise that if you look at the league, the winners of the leagues in all these countries sort of come from a pool of about 10 clubs, about 3 in each one, and you're going to win. And, your Man City then comes through when it gets all. It's just money. This is the I know that you'd had £1 million transfers and stuff before then, but football through the 80s still felt like it didn't feel like
Vocation.
A money driven thing. Yeah. It was here. This was the point where this is the start where it all changes.
Yep.
I think for me,
that's the question I would ask you then is actually, and because it's never really occurred to me at the time or anything, but because I know you and Gary are both big football team supporters and, you're very into football. I imagine this shifted the focus then from enjoying full matches that you might have watched or had the opportunity to then only being able to see the highlights of certain matches.
Does
that change how you consume football? And does it mar your enjoyment if you're being blocked from seeing the teams because you don't have Sky TV or whatever?
Not really. I mean, there is that sort of thought that was it, but live football on TV was a rarity.
Wow.
Back then. It was very rare. It was big competitions. So you had
the FA Cups and things.
The FA Cup final, maybe the League Cup final, maybe the Charity Shield,
World Cup.
as it was back then. Yeah, the World Cup and the Euros. You didn't get league games of any kind of sort of broadcast live. That's what you had. You had the big game on Wednesday nights on ITV and Match of the Day, or the Premier League highlights, whatever it was. It was very rare back then. So it didn't change your thing. You just was like, people had it was giving people the opportunity, well, if you want to watch the games, here you go. And then build this subscription in, and people went for that. And like you said, pubs and stuff started to realise it. It was always amusing. And they had the agreement that they would never show live TV at 3:00 on a Saturday.
Yeah, of course they did.
Which has become a bit of a moot point these days because you only get about 3 or 4 games kicking off in the Premier League on 3:00 on a Saturday these days. And that's been a while away for ages. You generally used to get, I remember when I went abroad on holiday, been to Greece and Spain or Ibiza and stuff like that, in the bars and stuff there, they were always showing live British football that you couldn't get in the UK. It was all shown on the continent, which I think is obviously probably part of all this deal.
It's such because it's easy to think of that one thing. This is why I said it's really important. It's easy to think of that one thing, but this is a classic case of what seems like a very, not minor thing, but what seems like a small thing has such a cascade over so many things. It increased, for example, the building of those Sky decryptors, so people would want to get their sports, and they felt that they were being priced out. So people then would buy these little boxes that descrambled the Sky signal, and that became a kind of a closet technology. And people would then get different kinds of dishes that would move. It spawned technological challenges that people bypassed in order to get football. And it's often the case. These things happen when. And another version of this happening is with the music industry. So, with things like Napster and things like that, where the domination of certain industries, where when you start to rule out a significant proportion of your audience and population by putting some kind of paywall in place, they will find a way to circumvent it one way or another. And nowadays, their option is they embrace it and they just try and go with it and try and actually democratize it a bit so that everyone has access in the best way they can, rather than leave it in the hands. But, by the time they'd figured this out with things like the movies and stuff like that, the distribution network of things like torrents and FTP sites or whatever,
I know so many people with dodgy Fire Sticks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
That show everything from everywhere.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly, because once sport became something that was behind a paywall, bear in mind that this is all sport eventually, not just the sports in the UK, but all sports around the world. So if you was into a sport from another part of the world, you would have to pay someone to see it somehow. That's even if you got a chance to do that. And I think it was a real turning point. I think what were we left with at one point? Snooker was, I think, shown principally. There was a lot of snooker. There was very little actual collegiate team sports and things like that were shown in the UK, to the point when I think there was a time when there was little to no sport. And then there was this big backlash, wasn't there? that we're not promoting sports in schools and that schools need to do more because nobody was playing sports. It's like, we weren't showing anybody anything.
Yeah, yeah, true. You only have to be.
I suppose the knock-on effect was absolutely cultural.
We always had Wimbledon.
So. Yeah, well, they've still got Wimbledon, isn't it? Still got that. But I think it's just a crazy cultural impact. It just, made me really.
The weird thing is, just sort of a more recent thing, and this is being in just going out for some drinks over Christmas into some pubs around here. They've got the TVs on and stuff. It's the volume of coverage of darts at the moment. It's crazy. It's gone nuts.
Renaissance. It's going through a renaissance.
Yeah, and we've got a pub here in Cleethorpes, the Knots. They had a really nice little back room, sort of snug room. They've just turned it into a darts room with pictures of darts players on the wall. It's horrible. Sorry if you're listening from the Knots, but you've ruined your back room. Because it's not even nice. I don't know, could you have nice pictures of darts? But it's not even good pictures of darts players. It's just, anyway, but the crazy, like yesterday or the other day, we were sat in there and they had some music on, and then some guy went, "Oh, I want to watch the darts." So they put the darts on, all the TVs around, turned all the music off, put all the volume up, so you were deafened by darts commentary. Just sat in this pub. It's like, oh God, I don't want to listen to darts commentary. It's like, what
Mad,
can you do?
it?
It's thrown again. Oh, it's thrown again. Oh, 141.
Well, do you know what's mad, right? So it all sort of goes in a circle, doesn't it? Because darts used to be really popular in the UK as the televised thing, and
yeah, well, it's this really little effect, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah,
so.
And here's a staggering statistic for you. Bullseye, the TV show, the original one with Jim Bowen and, and all that, and Bendy Bully, and that used to average 20 million viewers every episode.
I'm not surprised.
20 million. That's because darts was hugely popular. Like snooker was massively popular in the UK. That's why we had all those weird game shows like, it's only a game, but all that. Snooker and darts, they seem to be quite popular. And then it's going through resurgence. I expect snooker will come back because we'll probably get some new 16-year-old savant players that are amazing at it. So put it on TV. We've got a good one.
Yeah.
Luke Littler is amazing as a darts player. I mean, goodness me. It really is.
Oh, yeah. No disrespect to the guy. I remember because it went through a thing when we had, Phil the Power Taylor.
Yeah, we've had a few, haven't we? Yeah, he was pretty good. And Cliff Lazarenko, he was good.
How much money is being pumped into these darts tournaments and stuff.
They're
but it's all Sky coverage. It's all massive Sky coverage. And then Sky went through, it used to be Sky Sports 1, then 2, then 3. We renamed that Sky Golf because they showed nothing but golf on it.
They did.
And then they just broke it off, didn't they? So now you got the Sky Football, Sky Formula 1, Sky this.
Yeah, they'll be running out of sports eventually, won't there? There'll be Sky Drafts. Oh, really? Is that a sport?
Sky Backgammon.
Yeah, Sky Curling. Well, curling's pretty interesting, in all fairness.
Can they fill 24 hours with it, though? It's the curling championships from Dunedin.
Yeah, but if you want to see sports nowadays, you need to be on a subscription channel somewhere, don't you? Or you'll see the odd thing now and again. I mean, in the UK, they show the odd match on ITV and BBC and not the big ones, obviously, like you said, but I've always noticed it's really obscure teams. I mean, I'm no fan of football, but I'm looking at going, who are these? I've never heard of them.
Oh, no, the Prime stuff's pretty good. The thing what annoys me about Prime, before we finish off, because we've gone on for this a while, but the thing that annoys me about Prime, right? I pay for Prime. I pay my subscription for Prime, okay? Whatever it is, £9, and that's fine. And then they show TV shows, but because we're in the UK, we are not allowed to watch them unless we have a TV license.
Oh, weird.
Because you're not allowed to watch anything live.
Bit silly, isn't it?
Without a TV license. So you have to have a BBC TV license to watch the stuff you've subscribed to on Prime. You're not allowed to watch it. Which is dead annoying. I mean, I used to get rounded by letting the game go forward like 15 minutes and then watch from the start. Because technically then I'm not watching it live.
That's silly though, isn't it? Silly rules.
But yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's just a ridiculous thing that the UK still has. I get it, we fund the BBC and stuff, and you can argue over that back and forth, whatever. But I don't know. Anyway, there you go. Sky Sports started.
Yeah.
24th of May, BBC One airs the Everyman documentary E is for Ecstasy, a film exploring the use of the ecstasy drug in rave culture.
Indeed.
Sorry, let me say that again. A film exploring the use of the ecstasy drug in rave culture. There you go.
Yep.
Did you watch this?
I did, actually. I found it on YouTube, of course, because that's YouTube.
Of course.
And it is very BTEC student documentary circa 1992. We made documentaries as good as that, actually, at that time as well.
It very much reminded me of my Fighting Fantasy one, fantasy board game one.
I'd never heard so many drugged up Liverpudlians saying how great they were, though, which was interesting. But it was full of like-minded people going, yeah, it's quite nice to be in a room full of dancers and that, and you just want to hug people, don't you? You just want to hug them.
It did make me laugh when you went, he starts playing some music and you start dancing, and then he does something else and you just start dancing to that. So, that's dancing. That's just dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been doing that without...
You just seem to know what's happening in the next song. And it's like, well,
that's because they're all the same.
That's because it's a monotonous techno thumping beat, which you're in. But do you know what? It was of what it was. And also it had the experts, didn't it? And it reminded me of modern days Channel 5 things. Yeah, we've got the experts in there. Well, if you take ecstasy, it affects an area of the brain known as Shatner's bassoon. So that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes.
And the death dealing ecstasy. Oh, the ecstasy, but it does have it has a negative effect. These people have taken ecstasy. Look at them all. Look how monged out they are. And it's like, yeah, okay, get it.
Yeah, there's that guy who's like got massively paranoid, didn't he? I was watching it.
Yeah,
like, oh,
it can happen.
Paranoid. Of course it can. It's a drug.
Well, yeah, exactly. If you isolate the serotonin part of someone's brain, at some point when they come back down from their ecstasy cloud, then they can feel a little bit weird. Has to be said.
Yeah, I think one of the professionals on it made that point. It says that your high can't last forever, and so the come down is always going to feel like, oh, you feel because you want that high again, and that's addiction, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and that's why they called it a rave culture, not a rave night, because people were going back for more.
True.
It was expensive then as well.
Yeah, there were some cracking jumpers and sofas in it though as well, weren't there? Some proper 90s,
there were,
early 90s.
You could tell it was early 90s. It predates, well, at least the video there, 1992, predates where clubbing went in the later 90s, where it went to quite bizarre outfits, and it was much more of a event.
Yeah.
When it sort of when a lot of the music from the gay clubs was started to port its way into sort of more mainstream clubs, and the clubs started to do these bigger club nights where people would then take quantities of these tablets. As far as I'm aware, I wouldn't know from experience, but they did that, and it was very popular indeed, it seemed. Yeah. But somebody was making a lot of money out of that. Yeah,
I think the only thing I'd noticed about it is it's very club based. I thought it was a bit of a weird, like most of it was happening at illegal raves and stuff, and
Yeah, I think that's because if you took a camera to an illegal rave and started pointing at ecstasy dealers, you were probably going to end up in a very serious situation.
Yeah, true. I suppose true.
So it wasn't really at raves; they were just at kind of and it looked to me like it was some youth club as well.
Yes,
there wasn't many people there. And yet
think.
The rave footage I've seen, there's about 20,000 people in the field all monged out of their minds. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my partner used to go to them, and she tells me that it was an incredible experience. And you used to go to the one down in Inglemelds.
Inglemelds, yeah.
I never went.
Old one there.
Wasn't for me, I'm afraid.
No, it's not for everybody, is it, that kind of thing?
No, I can't see it catching on. New shows. What new shows did we have? I'm going to guarantee that we've heard of none of these. Maybe.
You're right.
The 3rd of May, Strathblair.
No, never heard of it.
No, set in the 1950s in the aftermath of World War II. Newlywed couple Alec and Jennifer Ritchie set up home in a dilapidated farm in the remote Scottish countryside. Life is not easy for these newcomers, and their hostile neighbours are keen to see them fail.
No.
Had a cameo by David Tennant, one of his earliest appearances.
I would never have watched that.
No. 8th of May, Wilderness Edge. Never heard of it.
No,
Children's outdoor activities. 8th of May, there was the music game. No bells. I watched that one you found. It's like Tony Slattery hosted a quiz show about music.
Yeah, it was really odd, and I didn't quite get it.
Yeah, it looked really uncomfortably like
unpolished.
No one looked comfortable. Yeah.
Like
Tony Slattery's jacket
on a shoestring budget. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Neil Innes, Betty Boo, and what's his face? Nicholas Parsons. Yeah, Nicholas Parsons was the with the guests, the contestants. Very odd. Also, 8th of May, there was The Flash. I didn't even know this existed. I did not even know this existed. This was
the original version.
Yeah, the original version of The Flash, as in The Flash. The DC comic The Flash. I thought, I watched a clip of this, that one you've shown. I thought the main guy was Bradley Whitford at the West Wing. He sounded dead like him because the quality was so bad of that clip, that episode. I was like, is that Bradley Whitford? It's not him, though. Weirdly, though, I mean, the effects are terrible, exactly what I expected. But reading around on this version of The Flash, it has been referenced and is part of the present. That's why it says 2014 present. It's been brought in as part of the multiverse into the present Flash and the Arrowverse and all that kind of DC nonsense.
Oh my gosh!
So, and the guy who plays the Flash in this is in the new Flash.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
So anyway, but it didn't look very good.
No,
never heard of it though. 10th of May, the Barbara Vine mysteries.
I wouldn't have been watching that.
No. Novels written by Ruth Rendell. It's not going to appeal to
mysteries.
me. Yeah, this is just BBC Three, not BBC Three, ITV3 fodder, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is. 12th of May, Anglo-Saxon Attitudes.
Just rubbish.
Who greenlit this?
Utter rubbish. No, I didn't watch that. I thank God.
No. 15th of May, Friday on My Mind. Nope, never heard of it.
No, never heard of it. Sounds bleak, though. A lot of these TV shows are very bleak sounding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because no one can watch the football anymore. 16th of May, Growing Pains.
Yeah. Do you remember this? I didn't remember it until I watched the sort of beginning of the episode, as it were.
Didn't remember it at all.
No. It was sort of, I'm not sure if it was meant to be comedy. It says family comedy drama. I didn't see a lot of comedy in the bit I watched, but it seemed like one of those typical sort of TV shows of its type. You know, you drops his toast in the morning. We've said about them before. So, my toast has dropped in the morning. Bloody hell.
You're always dropping your toast, Jason. What are you doing that for?
Yeah, stop dropping your toast. That's the start of every episode.
His dad dropped his toast again. Of course he has. Stop talking about my toast. It's bits on it now. I'll have to do some more.
Get us another slice, will you? We haven't got any more bread. Bloody hell.
The co-op won't be open yet. It's 1992 and nothing's open at that time of the morning.
At that point, they'd put the radio on and Mick Hucknall would be playing Simply Bread.
Or Bread, the band.
Yeah, Bread, the band. It's like, even the bloody radio's got it in for me. Look, they've got bread. Loads of bread-based puns in that first few minutes.
The problem is though, none of these shows are ever as funny as this.
No, we should have written them, didn't we? But we never did.
We never did, no. 17th of May, Route into Europe.
No.
Henry Root letters. Who cares? 31st of May, Natural Lies.
No, another one.
Controversial 1992 British 3-part TV thriller miniseries starring Bob Peck.
Yeah, but someone that gets BSE, which, that's chirpy, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Apparently, it was quite good, though. There's a lot of talk about how it was actually really quite polished and put together well. So, might be worth tracking down.
Okay. Might be. I'm not gonna, but it might be.
Yeah.
Films. What was going on at films? What could we have gone to see at the cinema? Probably not a lot of these because they went on at Grimsby. 1st of May, Mobsters.
I never saw it. I was aware of it by its cover.
Oh, what, in the video shop?
Yeah.
It's what's his face, isn't it? Christian Slater, isn't it?
Yeah, he was in everything around this point, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I've never seen it. I don't know if Gary has. Gary loved these mobster films. He'll
have watched that. Of course he'll have watched it.
Yeah, he won't like it though.
No. That's the guarantee. Yeah. That's his guarantee. He's on the box.
It's just his face. Just the Gary rating in the bottom corner.
Yeah.
It's always the
negative.
same face though.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Worst thing I've ever seen. Crap.
Absolutely. Walked out after 20 minutes. If you didn't fancy Mobsters, you could have gone seeing Grand Canyon. I did. I saw this at Whitgift.
I never liked these sort of ensemble type things, really.
I think I went because it had Steve Martin in it, but I think I primarily went because I liked The Big Chill. This is a kind of pseudo follow-up to The Big Chill
right.
from 1983. And it's also written by Lawrence Kasdan. Written by Megan Lawrence Kasdan, directed by Lawrence Kasdan. Kasdan did screenplays for Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Return of the Jedi, Body Heat, Bodyguard. He did loads of stuff. And he was, obviously written, good script writer.
Yeah. Talented.
So I watched the trailer for this, though. I couldn't remember much of it. The trailer makes this look very worthy. But it's one of those ensemble pieces like Magnolia, Crash, those kind of things. Not the Cronenberg Crash, the other one.
Yeah, what do you mean?
There's lots of stories intertwining. The Player, I think, is another one, maybe. You could have gone seen Howard's End.
A lot of people did. I wasn't one of them.
No. I wrote some script. Look out at the window.
I see horses.
Aren't they magnificent?
Yes.
Let's watch them.
Yes.
There you go.
Accurate. I think we could have done that better.
I don't think.
And then you got the music.
Admiral Croshaw has turned up, Mum.
Well, let him in, Benson. Let him in.
Show him to the drawing room. I'll be with him in a moment. Then there's a shot of her looking at the horses for a bit more. Horses running.
Don't.
Boring.
My
It's boring.
wife's just finished watching the endless seasons of Downton Abbey. Just people walking around. Are these people lost in a giant house? They're just walking around. They just seem to go from room to room looking at each other going, Where's George? I don't know. He's in the other room. What other room? I don't know. We're trapped here. We can't escape. We've been here for 30 years.
It's like the worst. It's like the worst version of the Traitors. It sounds like
it is principally in the Traitor's house. A load of people who don't like each other just walking around doing stuff all in the house. It's a bit like that other one, the Bridgerton, where people just walk around another stately home or the gardens just going, are you dating Fred? No. Are you married next week? No, I'm not. Well, you should be.
And every now and again they have some soft porn happens.
Yeah, that was weird. One episode I actually sat and watched with everybody and it got really overly sexual, should we say. Yeah, well, I was watching going, no, I did not expect this. No, I was expecting, it went over the top. Too far. Yeah. Too far.
We've just started rewatching Game of Thrones, actually, and I forgot just how much gratuitous boobage
Season 1 and 2.
And in season 1 there is. It's that bit where Baelish is talking and he's like, turn her over, play with her ass. I'm like, how do they get away with this?
It's quite, rudy-poody, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I'm
no prude, but you're like, this is not forwarding the plot at all.
Notably, they toned that down. Of all the things to tone down, that was what they toned down for the late seasons. And then it just bizarre. I mean, it's still a little bit there, isn't it? But they upped the violence. They were like, this isn't violent as it needs to be. Right, let's have a bit of cutthroat crazy. Okay.
Yeah. It's like if there's not an episode goes past without what's-her-face, Amelia, who plays Daenerys, getting taken from behind by Khal Drogo. It's an empty episode.
That is the prevailing visual of that first season, is her just getting taken from behind, as you politely say, repeatedly, and it's to the point when you're almost like numbed by it towards the end of that season. Oh, she's just doing it from behind again, whatever. It's the Drogo way. It's just that Drogo.
Yeah, absolutely, he's the stallion that rides the world. Clearly,
yeah, he's riding the world. All right, here he goes again. Oh, Drogo, will you ever win?
You match that with the look out of the window. I see the horses. Howard's End. I can see Howard's End. Yeah, it's the Game of Thrones version.
The Game of Thrones version. It'd be play with her ass. I don't ever want to hear Anthony Hopkins saying that to Emma Thompson, though. Ever. I don't want to hear that. No,
no one wants that. 8th of May, you could have watched. This has just gone smutty now, hasn't it? You could have watched Basic Instinct. It was all the lead up.
A lot of people did.
It was all the lead up to that episode, that show, that film.
Yeah,
Basic Instinct.
Massive hit, Basic Instinct. For lots of reasons, particularly Sharon Stone and the very sexualized performance from her, and actually contrary to what later happened with Joe House written films and certainly with Paul Verhoeven films, this is actually a pretty good film. It's just Verhoeven's take everything to the nth degree. Now, if you're going to show a lady's private parts on a screen, show them in full close up. Don't hold back. Do what you got to do. I thought it's pretty brave filmmaking for its time. It's just a bit of shock and awe, which the cinema kind of needed, because you think we've got Howard's End. Hello, the windows are all misty, and then all of a sudden you've got Sharon Stone opening her legs in front of a room full of sweaty men going, doing a power play. It's an interesting film. I actually rewatched it recently after I listened to a podcast interview from Louis Theroux and Sharon Stone, where she actually regrets doing that film in some ways, because it kind of just typecast her a bit, but also she didn't get a lot of roles because of it. It kind of almost single-handedly ruined her career in many ways. She was never really taken that seriously as an actress because of it.
Right. Okay.
So, and I thought she was pretty good when she turned in the goods in things like Casino. She's actually pretty good in that. So
she's very good in Casino, yeah.
But it's a film. And was you ever comfortable with Michael Douglas as a sexy man? I'm not sure I wasn't ready for it. When I rewatched it recently, relatively recently, there's a 4K print came out.
That sequence when he's in the nightclub in that jumper.
It's just, I wasn't ready for him in that film. Mentally, I'd kind of just not prepared myself for him.
No, he was. I knew him as the bearded cameraman, I think, from China Syndrome. That was the Michael Douglas I knew.
Yeah, exactly. I just wasn't ready for that, him in that film. Sharon Stone, I mean, she looks amazing in it, and it does play off on lots of horrific. Nowadays, you might not get away with some of the over sexualization of
you wouldn't know
stereotypes and roles. It's a bit offensive in that way, but it's
this would lead to Sliver, wouldn't it? This and loads of other.
And there was another sequel to Basic Instinct, and then a whole bunch of Basic Instinct you likes, loads of them.
What was the one with Willem Dafoe? Is that Body of Evidence?
Yeah, it's Body of Evidence. This doesn't. Loads of them came out. Loads of them. And this one kind of opened the door for how much smut you could get away with on a cinema screen. I remember thinking it was, I don't know if it was an 18 or a 15 in the UK. I honestly can't remember.
Don't know.
But I remember two friends of ours who went to see it, but we always wore ski coats, the pair of them, so that was weird. But they went to see it and came back raving about it. Oh, amazing it was. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you liked it. Yeah. You thought the acting was great. Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah.
If you didn't fancy Basic Instinct, you could have seen Van Gogh. I don't know. I don't have the Dutch pronunciation of it, so please forgive me,
Van
Dutch
Gogh.
listeners. Van Gogh. I mean, its final 67 days of Van Gogh's life are examined.
Yep. Every Van Gogh must go. And he does go.
We've lost our lease.
But yeah, I don't know much about Van Gogh, and I don't intend to ever find out, so I'll never watch that.
No. If you didn't fancy that, there was Jaco of Nantes.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of, I guess technically they used to be called them foreign films. Nowadays, they're just films.
Yeah.
But I never watched that one, so I have no idea how good that is.
No. This boy growing up in Nantes during World War II around his father's auto shop has a love for puppet shows. There you go. And there was something called To Want to Fly. Now, I'll leave this to you, Graham. You seem to have written a lot here.
No, I didn't write that. That was just because I went to get the synopsis from the Internet Movie Database, and that was just the synopsis. So clearly someone had gone to town on it. I don't know. What caught my eye was that someone had likened it to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it. I saw that it's got some kind of animated character in it, I think. I don't know. But I thought you might have seen it because you were kind of into your French cinema at a certain point.
No, I've never heard of it. No,
not me. Gary might have heard of that one. It's sort of up his Hoover, isn't it? Up his street.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have probably gone there, sat at the front and gone, ha! When he watched that one.
He's probably this couple of I was reading through it going, okay, and then at the end it just goes, can he keep his developing animated state hidden? Will he succeed as a soundtrack creator for pornography? Sounds interesting, this film. Oh, and more importantly, has he found love?
It might be good. I don't know. But,
I don't know. There was also Lost in Siberia.
Oh, that sounded so bleak.
A political drama about Stalin's prison camp system in Russia. Oof.
Heavy.
Yeah, and then there was also Book of Love, a reminiscence of youth in the 1950s.
That's the exact opposite of Lost in Siberia, isn't it?
Yeah, or as I said, they could have been the Barbie and Oppenheimer of their day.
I think they were, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Barbenheimer.
Yeah, Barbenheimer. 15th of May, there was Scorchers. The synopsis here. On Splendid's wedding night, I presume Splendid's the character, she won't allow her husband to consummate the marriage. Meanwhile, her armed cousin is looking for the hooker who slept with her husband. So I read that, I went, oh, what's that? And then I saw the cast. Faye Dunaway, Denholm Elliott and James Earl Jones. That's not the cast I was expecting from that synopsis.
James Earl Jones has never played a good hooker, as I remember.
Slept with her James Earl Jones slept with her husband.
On the Treat of Woe.
Yeah, this is not the hooker you're looking for.
Oh, the Treat of Woe.
But Denholm Elliott?
Well, he did have an enormous Schwanstucker.
Yeah, I suppose. There's also The Dark Wind.
No.
Lou Diamond Phillips, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
A Navajo police officers mixed up in drug smuggling and murder on the reservation.
That's pretty good, actually. But
yeah, my comment is I've had plenty of Dark Wind in my time.
You have. I knew. I thought the same thing. I didn't write it, but I thought the same thing. If that was a film about your passing wind in the 80s and 90s, the dark gusts of Adrian in the wind, yeah.
The Dark Wind.
The premise of the actual film reminded me of the True Detective type vibe. It gave me a bit of that.
Yes, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I think I might have seen it. There were a lot of the Brat Pack were trying to branch out, weren't there? And I did notice that Lou Diamond Phillips did get sort of typecast because of his sort of heritage and what have you.
He did, really did. But you probably saw that in bursts as you emitted your own dark wind as you were watching it, I don't doubt.
Yeah, couldn't see the TV for half of it.
The telly over,
yeah. There was Europa.
Yeah,
boy in Nazi Germany trying to conceal he's Jewish. Joins the Hitler Youth.
Yeah,
never seen it.
Not seen it.
No, and then finally there was Memoirs of an Invisible Man. After a freak accident, a company executive turns completely invisible, goes on the run, and becomes hunted by a treacherous CIA official while trying to cope with his new reality.
Yeah, that's the premise. There's a number of mistakes made with this. I watched it actually fairly recently because again there was another print came out of it, which is quite good. A lot of John Carpenter's movies have been re-released with super remastering on them, which is quite nice.
Oh.
So lots of groundbreaking visual effects in that film for a start, but a really misplaced trailer. The trailer made and the soundtrack. But so the soundtrack isn't John Carpenter. The soundtrack is, I can't remember who did it, but it's not John Carpenter. So it doesn't have the John Carpenter feel immediately.
Right.
Secondly, the trailer pitched it as a comedy because it's got Chevy Chase in it. So it almost pitched it in the wrong way because it has to, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the terrible casting choice of having Chevy Chase in it, which kills the idea of it completely, because you can't watch Chevy Chase in something and not perceive him as a kind of Fletch character or a kind of comedy, so even if he's not playing it as a comedy, he still comes up with little one-liners and throwaways. He can't stop being Chevy Chase, which is the problem of the film. So it's basically memoirs of Chevy Chase as an invisible man. And that's kind of how he plays it. He plays it a bit like the character that he is in. It's Clark Griswold if he was invisible. Little bits of that in it. Daryl Hannah's quite good in it, and Sam Neill's really good in it. And the special effects, some of them are groundbreaking in it at the time. There's some, there's a really good corridor crew just about that. Some of the effects in it, which were quite amazing at the time. Unwrapping the suite and lots of fancy green screening and CG and stuff that had not really been seen before at that point in that way. Really good compositing and stuff like that. Really good. But the acting is bad in this. Even from, Daryl Hannah's good in it, but she's not great because it's hard to... Chevy Chase is an actor that will not be out-acted. He's famous for being quite a difficult person to work with. If you watch any interview with Bill Murray or anybody like that, he's famously quite a challenging person to work with. And that clearly shows here because the other actors simply don't know how to be around. I mean, in this, you've also got the guy that plays... David St. Hubbins. So it's got that guy in it, whatever his name is, real name. I can't remember his name. Christopher Guest, the other one. Is it Christopher Guest? The other one.
No, it's Michael McKean.
So Michael McKean's in it, and he's pretty good in it. And the performances would have been great, but you can't outplay Chevy Chase in a Chevy Chase movie, and he makes sure of that. So everyone else is kind of an also around, even though Sam Neill is really good as the evil baddie kind of CIA guy in it. He's genuinely quite good, and he comes up with some great one-liners. But unfortunately, the film was a massive misfire, huge box office disaster.
Very much
and
so.
it saw John Carpenter off for quite some time. He didn't make a film after this for quite a while because of that.
Did he not? Was the next one? What was the next one he did? Was it In the Mouth of Madness?
Might have been, yeah. Might have been.
Did he do anything else in between?
It certainly didn't return to a studio film for a while after that.
No.
This was a big studio blockbuster movie, so...
The budget, just looking at IMDb, the budget for this was estimated at 40 million.
Yeah.
The gross worldwide was 14
Yeah, it was
million.
a huge flop. But you could, if you watch it, like I say, I watched it recently, you can see why. The film is a misfire. It doesn't know how to be. It doesn't know what direction to go. And that's partly because you've got Chevy Chase in it. Had they put somebody else in that role, I think it would have been a whole different outcome and ball game. And someone who played it with more of the sustained... When he first goes invisible in the film, he's in a building, he's in like a science complex. I forget the name of it now, the name of the company, but he's in there and he nips off because he's hungover. He nips off and goes for a lay down, which is, again, that's a Chevy Chase bit. You can tell it's probably a rewrite that he put in. Didn't need that. He just needed to be in this building and be trapped in the wrong place. And when the building and this accident happens, for stupid reasons, of course, in classic Carpenter fashion, somebody drops a cup of tea on a computer and it literally disintegrates an entire building. But that moment when he wakes up and he's realised he's invisible and he can't see himself and everything, and it's done in a voiceover way as well. So it's done in that kind of narrative voiceover, a bit like Blade Runner style, like where the actor who's playing the part is voiceover. So it's done like that. And those parts are genuinely quite good. Had it not been Chevy Chase, had that been someone who you felt more palpable panic and his life was completely, and in this film, his life is destroyed, completely destroyed. He can never not be invisible. And when he's invisible in this, he's completely invisible. So he can even see his own food being consumed. So it's good. And had that been the thing, and and sent him more maniacal, and had he been a more of a twisted evil person instead of just kind of trying to avoid Sam Neill's character, I think it would have worked a lot better as an Invisible Man movie. But sadly, that wasn't what happened. So
yeah, and it's a shame as well because Carpenter, just looking at his list of films before this, you had Fog, Escape from New York, The Thing, Christine, Starman, Big Trouble, Prince of Darkness, They Live. It's quite a run.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. Do you remember when it first popped up? We were buzzing for this film, all of us, me, you, and Gary. We were really excited because it was a John Carpenter movie, and all of our experience of John Carpenter movies up to that point had been mind-blowing. Yeah. And, even though we'd seen the trailer and it was Chevy Chase, we thought, well, we liked Chevy Chase at the time. We do like Chevy Chase, yeah. Okay. And maybe there's the odd one-liner in it that might be, but it just doesn't go in the direction you expect it to. And ultimately, there's a really weird bit where he paints his teeth and pretends to be Elvis, and sort of. It's really weird. He goes to a restaurant to try and be normal for dinner. It's just really stupid, and it goes kind of slapstick. Where you've got where on the other hand, you've got amazing scenes like when he's outside and the rain falls on him and she sees him for the first time because she can't see him up to this point, but because the rain's washing over him, you can see moments like that are genuinely brilliant. That's a great Carpenter moment that he's put in. Had it not been Chevy Chase as that, I suppose it isn't at that point. It's the CG, but it's a great moment to have in an Invisible Man movie when the the woman that's sort of kind of falling in love with him sees him for the first time. That's a great thing to have in a film like that. It's a great moment. And of course, the invisible effects only really got superseded by the Invisible Man movie that came out. The one they make the gorilla disappear at the start and all that, which the effects in that are even better. That's a Verhoeven movie, isn't it?
Is that the Hollow Man?
Hollow Man, yeah. So the Invisible Man movie, yeah.
I didn't think much. That's the Kevin Bacon one, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, that's all right. I think the more recent one with the Hero and Mad Men is good.
Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, that's quite good.
Yeah, I thought that was quite decent. Yeah. Okay, 22nd of May. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Funny places, but not great.
Very much of its time, I think.
Yep.
Then there was Death by Temptation. This was a trauma film.
Yeah, I didn't go for the trauma. They're still making them. I didn't go for that trauma film. So I know a man who did.
Yeah, I do as well. There was also Wayne's World.
I liked it. I still do like it in its own way. Its own logic. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2. It's
harmless. They're harmless, silly films. They basically spawned a load of catchphrases, didn't they? We'll see. I don't know whether they came, because we didn't really get Wayne's, because it was an SNL sketch, wasn't it?
Yep.
We didn't get him. SLN. Is it SNL? Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't get there over here. So this was kind of new to us when this appeared, and the whole "we're not worthy" and all that kind of stuff, and denied and all things like that.
Yeah.
So I think it was just rolling in on the back of Bill and Ted's a bit.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a pastiche of that, isn't it? A little bit of, and on reflection, maybe the actors are a bit old to play it. I mean, I get your point as well. Kind of that is kind of part of it, isn't it? So,
I think that was the point. Like, it's men who haven't grown up.
Yeah, sort of. And I just, because their age is a little bit non-described in the thing itself. They're kind of living in their parents' basement a bit, and then it's all of a sudden they move into their own place later. And the thing is good,
which you would see in but you would a similar sort of thing to what you get with the guy who's in Mallrats, Jason Lee's character in Mallrats. It's that I think it's that kind of American male who hasn't moved at this point, hadn't moved on, hadn't moved out.
No. And I mean, we can't really dislike the two actors in it. Either can you, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey in it.
Yeah.
They're both really funny in it. And there's other. So actually, these films are often made up by the small performances of other actors in there. So Rob Lowe's really funny in Wayne's World.
Yes.
And then you've also got Al Bundy, whatever his name is, Ed O'Neill is in it, and he's quite funny in it as well. And there's just little throwaway moments in it that remain funny. And in all fairness to Wayne's World 2 was also as consistently funny, if it sort of lost its way a little, but it is. And it's it's also oddly. It's kind of like a meta movie, isn't it? Because it sort of references other movies at the time. In the Wayne's World, there's a bit that references Terminator 2 and stuff like that. So it's that kind of movie. It's throwing lots of stuff at you. It's an SNL episode extended, and that logic kind of works mostly, I think.
But that goes back to, you could say, there's probably earlier examples of this, but like the beginning of Airplane, which is
very much so,
which is like the opening to Jaws with the airplane.
Yeah, totally that. Yeah, it's very of that ilk. There's lots of gags coming at you. Some of them land, some of them don't. But the good thing with Wayne's World is more of them do than don't.
Yeah.
And you sort of get away with, we're not worthy for a bit, but, because they do come up with some really stupid one-liners later down the line.
Yeah. I wonder if they were inspired by Otto from The Simpsons.
I think there's definitely something in that, I think. I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but there's definitely, and there's probably a whole bunch of other American characters that they've played that are all fitting in there that we're not privy to because we're not X generation SNL. So there's a bit like Animal House. There's probably loads of characters in that, D-Day and all those characters that are probably all parts of other sketches or similar to characters, and we just didn't have them in our universe, did we? But I remember going to cinema to see that with you. I remember going to Grimsby to see it. So.
It was a good laugh. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was. All right.
There was also The Long Day Closes.
Yeah, I never saw that.
No idea. Finally, 29th of May, there was The Adjuster. I had to put that poster up.
Yeah, it's the poster that makes no sense whatsoever.
No, so this poster shows a woman's legs on a bed, while at the bottom, a guy with a Photoshop towel around his waist is firing a bow and arrow out of a window. You heard that right? The plot of the film is a family with a lack of sincerity faces a crisis. I'm not getting that from that poster at all. No, none of those elements are in the same area. You can all tell they're just cut and pasted in. That woman's not there. That bed in. This towel isn't.
No,
it's all bad. I don't even know what the film is anyway.
No.
Then there was also The Inner Circle, the Bleak film.
Bleak Stalin-esque drama, I guess.
Yeah. Then there was Medicine Man.
I remember the fuss about it, but I never saw it.
No, Sean Connery starred, John McTiernan directed. I remember it not being particularly great, just a bit boring.
In the rainforest.
Yeah. Medicine Man.
Why are you calling it that?
I can't pronounce shit. You can pronounce shit. I can't. The Mambo Kings. There was also that.
Yeah, vaguely remember the music.
Then there was Ruby. This was about Jack Ruby.
I thought you'd have watched that.
I don't think I'd ever heard of it. What I have done, though, is I've got hold of it today and I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, I thought, because I just, for some reason, I in my mind, I thought you've definitely seen that because I know you're into that JFK stuff. So.
Yeah, I am, but no, I've never watched that.
Isn't it mad?
No, yeah. And finally, there was the Playboys.
Yeah.
No idea. Aidan Quinn, Robin Wright film.
Yeah, no.
There you go. That's your TV and that's your film. Lot to talk about there. Lots to talk about.
Yeah, important things happening.
Important things indeed. We're going to go away, take a quick break after that lot, wet our whistles and come back with 2 dynamic games for your pleasure. See you in a bit.
The novel Escape from the Commodore 64 by David Hearn is out now. Growing up in the 80s is a chore for Sarah, who feels misunderstood by her parents and badgered by Reese, her bothersome brother who incessantly prattles on about his treasured computer games. When Reese tells her one of the games tried to pull him inside the computer, she laughs off his fanciful fib. She waggles the joystick to disprove his fairy tale and is pulled into the computer. Now trapped in games she'd never had any interest in playing, how can she possibly beat them? With the help of feisty Nell, another trapped player, can Sarah find her way back home, or is it game over? An evil madman, a hostile planet, bloodthirsty robots, a never-ending throng of karate experts, and relentless digital soldiers will do their best to ensure Sarah never escapes. Available from Amazon and all good online retailers, find out if there's a way out of the beige bread bin of betrayal for Sarah in Escape from the Commodore 64.
And we're back. Graham, it's over to you when we start up, which is now to tell us all about, well, I didn't think they could put these 2 things together. I know, but I wished and wished and wished, and I finally got my wish. And those 2 things are Soccer Pinball.
Okay.
Is that a good groan?
No, it's not. This was $3.99. 70% it got in Zap.
70%. 14% less than Bonanza Brothers.
I'm just going to take a moment and just pause and let that sink in. And also just a moment of quiet contemplation for the fact that what utter stupidity that is. This was coded by Steve Siddle. He did a game called Q-Boy, which is CUE, not QU. It's it looks like a pool game or a snooker game. The graphics are by Michael Sanderson. It's the only thing he did. And the musician here is Gerard Garreley. He did Outlaw and Spooked, amongst many others. Quite a few.
Okay.
So this is a pinball game, a pinball tabletop game with a football theme, as if you didn't guess from the title.
Uh-huh.
I mean, goodness mate, from the awful loading screen, from the box art, which is just bizarre and rubbish, to the awful loading Spectrum-esque loading screen, which was just crap, to the bloody crappy music, everything, the whole idea of a pinball soccer combo. This was never going to be a good thing for me, especially. I like pinball. I don't really get on with football, but I've never wanted them combined. I just never wanted that. Nobody did. Nobody wanted this game. Nobody ever will ever again. But I can see the notion of a pinball game that uses a football aesthetic. I can sort of see it in the context of an actual pinball game that was, the green pitch and multi-ball and the goals.
Yeah.
I can sort of see the logic of it. I can see that might function fine. I'm not that they probably exist actually. I'm no expert on pinball tables. That probably exists. I can see a whole lot of limitations to that formatting, maybe. But on a tabletop game, maybe there's something in that. Fine. But we're not dealing with that, are we? What we're dealing with here is an affront to physics. And the affront to physics that it presents you with defies belief. It defies belief. I mean, okay, let me say this. Pinball is ultimately a game of physics. Like football, actually, but let's talk about pinball. A steel ball moves across a tilted surface under gravity, momentum, and collision. The player doesn't steer the ball directly. Instead, they inject energy into the system at key moments using flippers. Every bounce, every rebound, every near miss is the result of real forces interacting in real time. It's a physical system that's predictable in theory, but chaotic in practice. That's pinball right there. Yes. Football is also at its heart a game of physics. A ball moves across a surface under gravity, momentum, friction, and collision, obeying exactly the same laws you'd find in physics textbooks all over the world. Players don't remotely control the ball. They inject energy into the system at key moments with kicks, tackles, and deflections. Every pass, every bounce, and near miss is the result of real forces interacting in real time. Like pinball, it's predictable in theory, but once spin, bodies, and chaos enter the equation, it becomes gloriously unpredictable in practice. That's football. Physics. And all that scientific elegance,
Johnny Ball.
and all that scientific elegance only works because the laws of physics are consistent. The moment you change any of them, the very moment you change them, gravity, that little bit stronger, collisions that don't quite behave, friction that comes and goes, the whole experience falls apart. What was a skill becomes confusing. What felt fair seems to feel rigged in some way. Whether it's pinball or football, the game only works because the universe plays by the rules. Break those rules, and things take a turn very quickly. And so this game breaks the rules of physics that apply to both of those games in a triumphant attack on physics, where it takes all of the physics that are required for those two games and combines them into an utter arse cake of a game. Now, since it's an attempt at pinball, you fire the ball into the table with the spacebar and you control the flippers with the left and right shift keys. The table itself, once you've got past the awful opening bits, and you can, for reasons that aren't explained, you can't just press 1 or 2 for 2-player on this or whatever. You've got to press the spacebar to select your option, and then anyway, just you get past that. And then you'll get presented with your pinball table, which is all on one screen. And it's meant to look like a kind of, I think it looked more like Sabutio actually than real football as such. But it's meant to look footballish. So the scale's all wrong for reasons. So they're trying to, instead of making the pitch the thing where things happen, they've made the entire stadium the thing where things happen. So, and it's a pinball, obviously, so you press the space bar, the pinball shoots in from the right-hand side, goes through the tubes, and the idea is you've got to press the flippers to keep the ball in play, and it bounces around. In this one, you've got various different positions. There's a goal at the end with the goalie. There's players on the pitch which look like little Sabutio men, which the ball will run over, and obviously every time you interact with them, you score more points. There's also some flippers that are higher up in the table, which you can press. When you press the shift, it will flip those as well. And the idea is that you keep the ball in play, try and get it into little nooks and crannies and areas to try and get more of a score. And as you do that and keep it in play, obviously it's always aiming downwards because the pool table is tilted by 7 degrees, I think it's something like that in reality. So the idea is the ball is constantly going down towards your goal at the bottom, and you've got the flippers are kind of your goalie defending it, as well as a little dot that's a goalie in the middle. Then the idea is you've got to keep it out of there. If it goes in there, you're going to lose one of the balls, and then you've only got 3 of those, and then it goes on and so it goes on. And you can also score goals in this if you manage to get the ball into the goal that's at the top of the pinball table. So that's how this game kind of plays out. Like I said, it's not very good, though, really, any of this. And principally, this graphics all feel like they've been character graphics all the way through. So there's no real attempts to make this look anything other than monochromatic, generally speaking. It looks like it's borrowed heavily from Spectrum and added some kind of Spectrum S type colors in a C64 way. So it doesn't look very nice. And your flippers are a bit kind of tiny. Everything's kind of tiny. The view of the table is quite high up. Later down the line, when you get games like, and we're not that far away, believe it or not, from Pinball Dreams and Pinball Fantasies. It's not. I think it's only a couple of years away, if not less. So on the Amiga, that is. But obviously the idea is that they're a bit more zoomed in. This is kind of pitched quite far out. So the actual pinball itself is a tiny character dot, really, a little round filled in letter O that's going to bounce, and the idea is that it's going to obey those laws of physics, which they clearly had no idea what they are. Even though they would have experienced them from birth. So the quest then is to achieve a high score by keeping the ball in play and hitting the various sections of the table that will increase your score. These will turn out to just ping your ball around because that's what happens here, and that's how this game goes. You always need to rely on some kind of core physics for these to work. So when you tap the ball with the paddle, you need to know that the direction of force bears some resemblance to your aim of doing so. In Soccer Pinball, that doesn't happen. The ball will most likely ping around all over the place in any direction and at any speed except the one that should have been applied by the very nature of physics that should be present. It's like controlling a ping pong ball. It just kind of bounces around all over the place. The ball's motion is driven by gravity pulling it down the tilted table, really. Or that's what should be happening. The forces you apply with the flippers, that's how the game should be controlled. But the forces don't control the ball directly, do they, really? It's the change of momentum that's the exciting part. Where's it going to go? This, though, I mean, it goes off in random directions all over the place. There's nothing controllable here. I pressed the ball came down to my flipper and I hit it with the flipper and it went just off to the right, straight.
Yes, yeah.
How did that happen?
Shouldn't
or if
happen.
I hit it, it bounced off something and then it came at the completely wrong angle. I'm thinking it's not possible for it to have bounced that way.
Yep.
It's simply so, and that happened all the time. At one point, the ball just flew out the table and flew off. I think it just got bored. It just flew off. So none of the rules that should be applied to a game like this apply, not in this piece of shit game. It is utterly reprehensible, this. When the ball finally goes past and you're praying for it to go past you, but believe it or not, it's actually hard for the ball to get into your goal than it looks. And I didn't do anything. I just thought, I'm not moving anything. And it still managed to avoid it. I scored about sort of 5,000 or 6,000 points by not doing anything. It just wouldn't go down there. I'm thinking, please end this game. Anyway, when you do that, you get a miniature version, like a shown of a goalie, what looks like he's wincing from being poked in the eye by somebody. From the rear view of the goal when the goal goes in. And instead of it being like, goal, you just get this tiny little scrolly thing that says, ball, whatever. It's not very exciting. Pinball games are generally driven around the mechanics of the table, aren't they? So you get multipliers, you get multiples, you get multiple things like that. Maybe they exist on this, but there's no indication of them anywhere. And you need those indications. They have lights and they have sounds and they have whirring and things and messages that scroll across telling you the stuff and multi-ball and all those exciting things that don't happen here. God, I didn't get multi-ball, thank God, because it would have been physics chaos. And I was already experiencing nightmares of it. There's nothing I can say about this game in any way that is good. It is rubbish to play. It doesn't obey the basic physics of either of the games that it's trying to. It combines two things that didn't need to be combined with really, really crappy graphics, really naff sounds. It's awful in every possible way. And then even the ball physics, like I said, it just doesn't move around like a ball should in this kind of thing. There's no weight, no weighty balls. We've said it many times. You need weighty balls. Go and play any one of the other pinball games there's been. There's bound to have been better ones than this. This is awful. And then the very thing that physics, take the physics away, fine. The very thing that it then relies on, the scoring, the lights, the sounds, they're all missing. So there's very little, it's football themed, but that's kind of it. And when I say football themed, it's got a goal in it and some Subbuteo players on the table. You could have set this up yourself at home. You wouldn't have even needed all of this elaboration. You could have just put some Subbuteo players on your Subbuteo table and flicked a ball bearing at them. Probably been more exciting as well. And the physics would have actually been real. It would have been Earth physics, wouldn't it? This is just shit. $3.99. Now, the biggest shit of all is that this is utterly crap. And it's $3.99, so it's not even good budget crap. It got 70% in Zap. Get f***ing lost. No way. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. No. No way. I'm not having it. Nope, I'm not.
No.
What did you think?
Is that done?
Yeah, that's it. I'm not having it.
Yeah, my first word is physics. I just wrote physics. You can't have a pinball game without physics. Or at least physics that approximate the real world. This is none of them. Not even close. The ball here is a weightless floaty thing that moves where it wants to, not where you hit it. Why does it go sideways off the flippers? So that's not just you. Everyone has that. Why does it grate and wobble down the chutes, making that god-awful noise? It's off. You cannot call pinball. You cannot call something pinball and have it play like this.
Nope.
No. So I've not got much to say. The idea maybe has some merit. There may be something there. And I actually didn't mind. It doesn't fit the game, but the music on the title screen is all right. Yeah. Gerard Gorley piece. It's it's a short, sort of moody piece, which doesn't fit the game.
No.
But, it's nothing to do with that. But it just looks like a shit Spectrum conversion. Spectrum presentation, annoying movement of the ball. It's all for nothing. Who cares? 70% I've written the same thing. For a pinball simulator, it feels nothing like pinball.
No.
My Lord.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch. I'm disavowing your score. I'm cancelling it.
I don't blame you. I mean, when I played this, I was like, what the hell? I thought at first, okay. And then the ball started moving. I was like, no. And you can't, it's so hard to launch the ball as well because it moves. When you pull the plunger back, you press space, it's like you have to try to get some different speed on it. Doesn't matter anyway, does it? Because the physics is shit.
No.
Oh, dreadful. What a dreadful thing. Soccer shitball.
Yep.
There we go. That's Soccer Pinball. You're bloody awful. Let's move on. Because surely it must get better. It must. If they're doing this podcast for 211 episodes has taught me anything, it's always that it always gets better. Let's see if it does. Our final game for May 1992 and for this episode. This is Murray Mouse Supercop. I'm just going to tell you, Graham, that this got... Is it the same score? Is it the same? It's 1% less than Bonanza Brothers.
It's mind-blowing. I'm not having it.
84%, $3.99. This is our third game this week from Codemasters. This is Murray Mouse Supercop. Although why is a cop? What that has to do with anything resembling police is beyond me in this game. I will just hold that thought. So, like I said, another £4 title, a direct port from the Spectrum original with all the pain and horror that entails. Coded by Ian Gray. He did loads of things pre-Zap. He also did Caverns of Erebban that we've looked at, Goliath as well. And then he's done loads of Dizzy games recently, which makes sense. When you see this. The music, though, is by Alistair Brimble.
Okay.
He must have been having an off day.
He was having a bad day, wasn't he? Goodness.
He really was. There's a very Spectrum-style loading screen to this. It's a version of the cover with our hero crouched behind some barrels while some hoodlum mice have a meeting in the background. I guess it's a Spectrum title. It's not bad. But, I don't know what it's got to do with the game.
Nothing.
No idea what it's got to do with the game. Because then the game loads in. We're in full-on Spectrum port territory. There's no attempt to play to the C64 strengths here at all whatsoever. So things are bad from the get-go. The game is called Mice Mania on the title screen. That's never a good sign.
No.
It's a different game. No mention of Murray or anything, or police or anything. The title screen is a scrolling message about something. I didn't read it. I couldn't be bothered. The music from Mr. Brimble that plays throughout. But on the title screen, it suffers immediate slowdown. The music has slow. It's like it's very bad.
It's cycles are wrong. It's there's issues,
off.
timing issues. Yeah, totally is.
Yeah. Not that it's a great tune. You can listen to Lemon if you want to hear it without slowdown, or play the game. Just go listen to Lemon. Don't do either. It's not good. There's some Spectrum-style mountains in the background. There's a sun with a smiley face and some things that might be trees here as well. It looks fucking awful.
It does.
Pressing fire starts the game. The music goes back to full speed, and we control Murray Mouse in what is a very basic flick screen platformer where you need to find things to do the thing and progress. It's one of those.
Yep.
Reminded me of Biff from the other week.
Actually, that's a good
There
shout.
is a story, of course. This story.
There had to be.
The time, 1930. I don't know if I presume that's a year, or whether it's 7:30. I'm not sure. The place, downtown Chicago. Tell me if this makes any sense with the game you played. Crime has hit the streets. The cheese prohibition is hitting the community hard, but a few hardened criminals flout the law as though it didn't exist. The time is 2:30. The place is Commissioner Ted T. Gordon's office. This town's just about at it, Murray. The mouse mafia rule the streets and I'm just about sick. I want these scum. Nail them, and nail them hard. Sounds like an episode of Game of Thrones. The time is now 3 o'clock. The place, Police Intelligence HQ. The files show that 10 members of the Mouse Mafia have hatched a plot to steal the cheesy moon and sell it on the black market. The time is now 3:01. Bribery and corruption and trust a rare thing. Murray thinks, I must go undercover to rumble these guys. I will have to become an untouchable. Help Murray Mouse in his bid to foil the Mouse Mafia's attempts to steal the moon. Murray has to find all 10 members of the Mouse Mafia organisation and bring them to justice. What is that? What got to do with this
nothing.
game? I don't get it. I don't understand. The game window sits within a blue border with pale blue wavy lines in its border, like Spectrum games do when they're just spraying a bit. It just looks like a Spectrum game. The opening screen has 2 sunflowers jittering about, some mushrooms to jump over. Controls are basic, left and right for movement, up for jump. As you move from screen to screen, pop-ups will appear. Oh, the pop-ups. The pop-ups, Graham, which make the whole screen redraw itself. Why? What's going on here? These pop-ups include things like shit jokes, advice, and other stuff. But when the one pops up, like you get to one point, you're just walking along, and then suddenly a pop-up goes, why did the mushroom go to the party? And then it redraws the whole screen, and another pop-up appears because he was such a fun guy. You haven't done anything.
Stupid.
It just comes up. God's sake.
Really stupid.
Press it. If you press fire when stood on an object, there are objects dotted about. This lets you pick it up. And then this opens up an inventory. And you can you select the objects by moving left and right to move up and down, which is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, down the list of items that you have. Why do you move left and right to move up and down? Because this game is crap. If you use it in the right place and you solve a puzzle, move on. The first puzzle involves finding the sewers, the sewer key in the screen to the left of where you start, and use it on the manhole cover a few screens to the right. However, exploring the sewers seems to lead to places where you can get stuck, which is terrible, and nothing I tried could get me out, meaning a restart was in order. Who cares? I just was like, I'm done with this. This is where we are. It's 1992, and this rubbish is still being foisted onto the market for some reason. This is rubbish in all aspects. From the Spectrum-style visuals to the annoying music and the controls, no part of this is what I would consider as good. As an example of bad design, some screens have a mushroom right in front of you when you enter the screen. All you can do here is jump up. You can't jump onto the mushroom, though. So you have to go back to the previous screen, then turn and jump. But don't turn, because that moves you slightly back the way you came, taking you back to the screen where the mushroom was, and you're not being able to jump at it all over it again. It's just repeat. And I was just driving me mad, just trying to actually move and navigate this space. So meaning you must walk back to the screen, then move a bit into it before turning to jump. Now, who thinks this is good design in 1992? It's just dreadful. The only thing I liked in this was like, you've got in the underground bit, there's these torches and you can jump and it sort of flicks the handles and that opens up secret doors. But the jumping's crap. The movement is rubbish. The graphics are shit. The music is so annoying. And you can get trapped as far as I could see. I got trapped. I couldn't see where to go and I couldn't get out. No matter, I had all the objects. There's a short video on YouTube that I watched. They got trapped and then just turned it off. Who thinks this cannot progress? You can't progress. It's not a good idea.
No.
This game just made me... I couldn't get it. I didn't get it. Maybe you could get out. I don't know. I just kept hitting my head on blocks because the jumping at this point decided you can't jump there. Finding myself unable to progress. I thought, if I'm honest, I didn't want to progress.
No.
There's no need for this kind of game. From a tech point of view, it's poor. The visuals are poor. The music is poor, as I said. It's no fun to play in any shape or form. It's nothing to do with Chicago. You're wandering around like fields with bouncing you're jumping on mushrooms and going down into sewers and stuff. What's police? There's no police in this. It's called Mice Mania.
Weird.
They've just slapped a new cover on this. Whatever the hell this thing was, I don't know. It's a terrible thing. And it got 84%, 1% less than Bonanza Brothers. For 84%, this is 6% off a Sizzler. And they were loving it. They were going, it's brilliant. It's dead clever and blah, 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 and it controls really well. I'm like, are you idiots? Are you actually idiots? Did you play this? Because there's no way in hell anyone can play this and go, yeah, it's all right. Jesus Christ, this was awful. I'm not going to say anything more about it. What did you think?
It was awful. It was bloody awful. My first word was no. Just no. I thought, okay, it's a Spectrum-esque looking game. Then the music started to slow down because obviously they're just pushing data through without thinking about proper timings and raster timings and things like that. So it's just literally the CPU's just trying to grunt its way through the graphics as best it can and this coder knows to do better than that. I mean, this is the guy that gave us the Arabian Nights game, isn't it? Yeah. Amongst many others. So clearly it's just, and then when the game started and I was like, oh no, I knew what I was in for as soon as I saw it. I was thinking, I'm going to hate this. I'm going to hate it. I couldn't figure out why on earth, who was Murray Mouse? What was it all about? Why is it Supercop? I didn't get that bit anyway. Then when I started to try and jump and I couldn't, once you're next to a mushroom, you can't jump over it. You have to go walk off to the left. In some instances, walk off to the previous screen and start your jump from the previous screen to jump over. I'm like, what idiot designed that stupid rubbish?
Yep.
So it was just awful. And then the idea of the gameplay being wandering around doing stuff like that, this was just a bad creation, period. It wasn't even properly full screen. It clearly was just a really, really poorly conceived Spectrum port. How it achieved 84%, just no, absolutely no way. No way is this scoring a few percent less than IK Plus. No, it's 7% less than IK Plus. Is it 7? No, maybe 8 or 9%, but whatever. 9%. It's 9% less than IK Plus. I mean, get lost. No way. This isn't a good game by any stretch of the imagination. It isn't a good game for people that like these kind of games. There's so many better games of this type that you go and play any one of the other millions that are out there that are better than this.
Yeah.
And even that's even saying this is bad for, it's clearly a Dizzy game with they've just put ears and a nose on Dizzy, look. It's just Dizzy.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't find any redeeming features. Maybe the mushrooms looked okay in the way they were shaded. Okay. If that's all you can really say about it. Everything else was awful. And the shrill music. Oh, that music. I mean, sorry, Alistair, you're a really nice guy, but that music is f***ing shit. So it was awful. Shrill. So shrill. It's like pigeon attacking each other music, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the kind of music that you'd I'm surprised it isn't on the Guantanamo Bay hit list. It's on the greatest hits CD. No, I imagine that's used as torture to make people confess to things. It is literally shrill. But that's probably a legacy from the Spectrum, maybe, and the fact that it doesn't even play that very well tells me that there was no real sound routine. It's just notes being pushed through the sound device on the SID. So I don't think Alistair Mribble, certainly there's no player involved in it. No SID playing architecture that I could detect there. That is just notes being poked into a SID chip, and that's what happens. Bloody shite. Yep. Shocking. And the score is the biggest shock of all. That's 2 games in a row that have had their scores artificially inflated. And I can't figure out why. How, if you put Bonanza Brothers and Murray Mouse side by side and said there was 1% difference, what is it? It's not possible it's not possible. That should, clearly that should just be 4%. Take off the 8. And if we're following that logic, then Soccer Pinball would be 0. And that's probably about right for that as well. So no. Crap.
Yeah, a bad way to end the month. That's a dreadful pairing of games. You never know, though, do you? You see the scores, you think, it might be all right. I've come to realise something. The scores mean absolutely nothing this year. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's it. That was it. So obviously, clearly, Bonanza Bros is the highlight of the week. Yeah. The rest are just forget about them. Just don't. Yeah. We played these. It's really a case of we played these, so you don't have to.
We really did.
We took the hit. Don't do it to yourself. Don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. There were a lot of budget re-releases this month. Shoot 'em up construction kit got released for $5.
That's a bargain. That is.
That really is. Yeah. It's a game engine construction kit for $5. Really.
Yep. That's amazing.
But it is. Viz came out for £4. The tape version was dreadful, wasn't it?
Yeah, don't remember it being very good. So.
And Puffy Saga was £4. Don't remember much about that. No. Spy Who Loved Me was £4.
I'm not sure which Bond movie that is, and it's making me nervous.
Is the Spy Who Loved Me the one with the boring trip to the shop at the beginning in the car?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Shadow Warriors £4.
Okay. Yeah.
Slow, wasn't it? Navy Moves for £4.
Impossibly hard.
Yeah, Championship Wrestling for £4. Not bad, I suppose.
Not bad for £4.
Epic's one, wasn't it? International 3D Tennis.
That was all right for $3.99.
That's the sensible one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
was that the sensible one? Yeah. Okay. Saint Dragon for £4. That was okay.
That was all right. It's not bad for £4.
Yeah, Airborne Ranger for £4.
I don't remember that.
That's the sort of Microprose one with the sort of commando style, sort of more tactical commando style one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, from ages ago. That's years old, isn't it? It's about 5 years old, 6 years old by this point. Not bad for £4, I suppose, but I imagine the tape loader would be a bit of a nightmare on that. And finally, Lotus Esprit Turbo Challenge for £4. That's all right.
That's all right. For £4, that's not bad. It's better than Murray Mouse or Soccer Pinball, though. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Spend your money on any of them, probably. It's better than those others. We do have a crap vert.
We do.
Courtesy of yourself. This is, you put this in, so I'll...
Well, it's the cover, the game box cover for Soccer Pinball. I had to put it in. It'd been made mention in the Discord as well, so someone had made mention of it.
I put it in there. So I was like, what the hell is this shit?
But it is a bizarre combination of things that shouldn't be, isn't it?
Yes.
They've robbed somebody's famous drawing, believe it or not.
It's a painting. It's a painting. Yeah, when it was a painting, it's I'll joke about it. I'll find out the details.
So the cover itself, it's the Soccer Pinball. At the top, you've got the Soccer Pinball logo. So the O of the soccer is a pinball, or in this case, a badly gradiated shade ball with a blue drop shadow. Never drop shadow in blue. But then again, with pinball, the word pinball, they drop shadow in red. So mismatch of typefaces that make no sense. And there's a footballer wearing, I don't know what football kit that is. Pacer United, I don't know what it is. And here's what looks like he's meant to be kicking a pinball like a football, but it doesn't work. In actuality, it just looks like his face says a lot in that image. It looks like he's been badly disturbed. And he stood atop what is a pinball table, but it's a painting of a pinball table has been discovered.
Yeah, so this was Charles Bell. It's a painting called Thunder Smash, 1977. He was a pioneer of photorealism, known for painting vintage objects using a hyper-realistic technique. You can say that again, because I thought this was a photo.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I'm looking at it now, and I'm just like, I can't. The fact that it's a painting boggles my mind. I don't get it.
Yeah. And it even says the word Thunder Smash on the actual rip-off. They clearly nicked it and stuck it on the cover and then cut and paste a footballer onto it.
And moved the ball.
Yeah. Now, which footballer do you think that is? Because you might know.
I don't recognise that kit. I don't recognise that face. I don't know. The kit is white. It's white with red hoops. That's not a kit. I don't think that is anything. The shorts are white with red stripes down the thing, and the socks are white with a red band at the top. That's no kit I'm aware of.
No. Has he got shin guards in there? He doesn't like he's got any in.
No, probably not. That's the least of his problems.
Yeah. And why did they elevate the shorts around the crotch like that?
I don't know. It's obviously meant to. It might be a Scottish football or something, some Scottish kit. It's a kit I don't recognise. It's his look though. The look on his face.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
oh, what's happened? And his arm is a bit wrong, isn't it? His arms.
His arms are both wrong. His fingers are all weird. He's got his little finger on his. I want to say his right hand. It looks really weird. It's like he's doing some kind of gang sign, I think, with it. A bit strange. And then there's the pinball flying off for him, which has got a reflection of everything but him on it, which is odd because he would be on that reflective ball, but he's not.
He would be, yeah. And also the reflection from where the ball is, because in the actual photo, the ball is on the table, so the reflection works because it's up against thing. Here, it's floating in the air, so that reflection doesn't work at all.
No, it's shocking how badly cut and paste together this is. So, and cheap and nasty, and then just stick a really naff new release box on it. It's just, because obviously this is in the budget range, so but you would be forgiven for thinking it was made in 1981. It is utterly shite, the game, and the box cover is awful as well. And I'm still trying to figure out why they would put a red logo with a blue drop shadow. But just, and it also it goes off. There's like a white trim around the edge, and the logo goes over the side of the trim, which I can't be doing with that. It's like his foot does as well.
Yeah, but pinball has a blue edge in with a red drop shadow, Graham.
Don't get me started. It's not even the same kind of typeface and the same kind of drop shadow, and from the same. It's not even the same angle.
And also, that's a golf ball.
It is, yeah. I think you're
in the soccer pinball. In the soccer world. That's not football. No, it's meant to be well, it should be a pinball, shouldn't it? But it's not. But I don't know why it's there. It's just a gradient shaded ball. But the pinball writing, the drop shadow is at a different angle to the blue of the soccer. So it's in my brain. I can't cope with that. But it shows you about how much thought went into that game, which was none. So, and that's the face that guy's looking at is the face that you'll have when you see the graphics load up for the first time. When you experience the physics.
Yeah, that is the face of a footballer that's experiencing negative reality physics. When you were playing football and you kicked the ball and it went sideways when you were facing a different way and then just flew off, that would be your face.
To be fair, sometimes that happened. But where's the ball coming from? It's not coming from his foot, is it?
Well, I think it's meant to be.
There's like speed lines coming down, but no, it's just crap.
Yeah, why has it got speed lines? Why does it need that there?
I don't know. I don't know. It's just a dreadful
painting amazing,
thing.
but they know the actual way that they've carved it up into this nonsense is utterly shite.
Yeah, really, really, really bad. There we go. That's your crap Bert. Okay, not much else to do. There's no charts, obviously. We still have them. Next month, though, June 1992, bumper month, 10 games.
Wowza.
So five each week. So what have we got? This is in descending order, which means nothing. But these are this is going down from top to bottom. We've got Steg. That's 87%. Then we've got Arnie. That's Stingy's last one, isn't it? Chris Butler's last game for the C64. Yep. Soccer Rivals.
Oh, no.
Dizzy Down the Rapids.
Oh, another Dizzy game.
Over the Net.
Oh, it's a football game again, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is. I think I've heard good things about it. I think it's a beach volleyball one.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's good then.
I think. I've heard, that Secret Agent Slice Spy is not too bad as well.
Okay.
Seymour Goes to Hollywood.
Okay, we'll give it a shot.
Skate Wars.
Is that a TV show as well? Is that a TV tie-in?
Maybe. Black Hornet.
Sounds rubbish.
And G-Lock.
Oh dear, okay. Sounds like an arcade conversion.
Yeah, it probably is. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows? At this point,
we don't know.
We don't know. That's the games we've got to look forward to over the next couple of weeks. They could be crap. They probably will be,
Yeah.
I'm not holding out much hope. I don't know. Arnie might be all right. Over the Net might be okay. Secret Agent may be okay. I'm not holding out much for hope for much else. So there you go. That's May 1992 done. 12 episodes left. And then we're done with the run of Zap 64. The end comes ever closer. You got anything you want to say about this week's games or May in general, Graham?
No, I don't. I've said everything I need to say about the stupid games. They're rubbish and the scores have annoyed me, and I've just done a quick scanty glance like you do at G-Lock R360, by the way, which is an arcade conversion. And one of the first comments I saw on Lemon says, you can't even fly the plane in 360 degrees. Oh, it's not going to be good, that one, is it? Anyway, that's by the by. It's just, this is heading in a bad direction. Bonanza Brothers good, the rest of them to forget. And a month that had, well...
Space Crusade.
Space Crusade was pretty good.
Catalypse
was a little bit... Catalypse had its little moments. It was a bit of an unsung hero, wasn't it? Doing a lot of... But not a great deal of good stuff happening in May,
the budget.
Really.
In the budget sense, Biff, Stryker, Soccer Pinball, and Murray Mouse. That's a bad quartet.
Yeah, it is. And there's so many good budget games being released at the moment that, go and get yourself any one of them, any one of those other ones. But
yeah,
May, you know what? Well, we figured it out. It wasn't so much May the 4th, was it? Be with us. It was May the 5th or the 6th or whatever it is.
May the filth.
Yeah, it was a bit crap.
It really was.
Disappointing a month, really. There you go.
Yeah. There you go. So on that note, we will leave you to carry on with the rest of your day. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week as we get to episode 212 and we kick into June. But as ever, I have been Adrian Mills.
And I have been Graham. I'm still not having them stupid bloody Zap scores. I'm not having it, Raddings.
And you've been listening to a podcast without physics. And we'll see you again next week. Perhaps if we haven't floated off. Who knows what direction we'll be going in? You never know. Pressing the shift key, we could go in anyway. So hopefully see you then. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the Zapped to the Past podcast. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the world of Commodore 64 games, as well as the music, films and TV from around the 1980s, driven, of course, by the issue of Zapped 64 magazine published at that time. We will return with a whole new batch of games and stuff to talk about next week. Until then, if you want to listen to or download previous episodes of Zapped to the Past, and why wouldn't you, they can all be found on our website at zappedtothepast.com, as well as being available on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Audible, Player FM, and, well, pretty much anywhere where we can upload them. By the way, we do always love to hear from our amazing listeners, so if you'd like to contact us about anything in the podcast or beyond, you can do so by emailing us at zappedtothepast@gmail.com. We're also active on Twitter under @ZapTother, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and most social media platforms. Just search for Zapped to the Past and you'll find us. Oh, and if you like the podcast and what we're doing, please do like, share, review, rate us. It really helps. Something. Apparently, the Zapped to the Past podcast is written and produced by Adrian Mills and Graham Raddings and recorded at Flaky Bits 2.0 Studio. All opinions expressed are those of the writers, and while we indeed love Zap 64 magazine, the Zapped to the Past podcast is not affiliated with it in any way. Stay safe, see you next time, and remember, we play these games so you don't have to.